I think you're on mute, man.
All right. I literally clicked off of it, and I don't know why it didn't do it. It
Yeah.
is what it is. But it's Tuesday night, so it's time for the big three. You guys already know what it is. I'm here with my boy Jordan. Dylan will be, joining us in a few minutes. But how you doing? What you been up to? How's holiday season going for you?
I mean, first of all, man, what's up, stranger? I thought I just saw you Monday, man, on the cheap seat.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, I'm doing good, man. Same shit, different day, man. Just uh,
yeah,
like I mean, that's the motto, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, no holidays passed. I mean, well, Christmas passed. I mean, I had a good time. Now little run to the New Year, New Year's Eve, you know, just yeah, I'm calling, chilling, feeling right, feeling good, man. How about you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Christmas was quiet with just family and all that. So I mean, don't need gifts and nothing like that. I was just chilling, watching a lot of football, basketball, which we'll get into, of course, over the course of the show. But yeah, just another chill day for me. So I can't complain. I can't believe it's almost 2023, and
Yeah.
2023 is going to be a big year for not only the show, but honestly, believe for the network as well. So, you guys who are tuning in, if you're new, been here before, make sure you hit subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, because there's also a lot of other great shows and plenty that are down on the horizon. So make sure you're locked in with us. So
Yeah, I don't know what Freddie and Key have in store for us for next year, man. It's gonna be
yeah, I have no idea, but I mean, I'm excited to see because a lot of good analysts and people with their hot takes on here. So it's always entertaining, no matter what show you tune into. Guarantee you'll laugh. You'll probably get mad at somebody on there, but that's just the whole experience.
right, right. Yep, yep.
So
Well, let's get into it, man. So what's the first
yeah,
topic?
so I think we got to talk about this Carlos Correa thing because he played with the Twins last year. Free agency, he was one of the prized possessions from the shortstop position. Signed with the Giants. Giants looked at his physical, was like, meh, we don't know about that. Signs with the Mets. Now the Mets don't like his physical. So what do you make of this whole thing? Like, do you think he ends up staying with the Mets, goes somewhere else? What what do you is this the craziest thing you've probably seen for a free agent?
Yeah, I mean, my yeah. So like what I thought about it was really weird because yeah, like you said, he was the top. I mean, other than Judge, and Verlander and Trey Turner, they're on the board. Correa was up there,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know the Yankees were and kind of talked with him because but thank God he's not because like you said, Giants liked him. Actually, we're getting ready for a press conference with him,
Yeah.
and then that went south. Okay, well, now we're thinking the Giants kind of lost out first on Judge, and then now on Correa, and now I'm like, okay, now he's gonna get the bag in New York with the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Then oh damn, another report comes out saying that the physical. So something is not right. I
Yeah.
mean, it's something that Carrera should have known going into signing with either team. I think he knew that like he was hurt.
Oh yeah.
So
He
there's
has to
something
know.
fishy about that. There's something fishy, like because he knows like you're not just gonna sign big money and it's like play from off the bat. You have to do a physical, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's kind of
So
a
so do you think he ultimately signs with the Mets, or do you think he ends up going somewhere else?
it's gonna be the same story, like physical, physical, physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Michael, I fit in the group chat, point out his contract history and his injury history.
Mm-hmm.
I call him the Jeff Passan of the group chat because he breaks all the MLB news for us in the group
Yeah.
chat. and he was just breaking down the numbers and just like the history of injury with Carrera. And I mean, when he's not injured, he's one of the top shortstops potentially in the league. I mean, when Michael, yep, there he is, Michael Samayo. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name wrong, but
Yeah, what's going on,
that's
Michael?
the Jeff Passan of the group chat. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fishy. It's fishy for sure.
I mean, I have to assume he probably ends up staying with the Mets at some point, but I feel like the original contract, he could kiss that goodbye. I mean, even if he went to another team, he's not getting more than 10 years at whatever the number was. I feel like because of these two situations popping up, he's probably going to have to sign like I mean, I don't even know. Would you give him 5 years knowing the concerns about his, isn't it like his knee or something like that? I don't know. But I don't think he can go like year to year because he's still somewhat young. I don't know. This is weird. Maybe they talk it down to like a 4 year deal. I don't. It's just I've never seen this, and like you said, the fact that he knew he was a free agent, he knows teams are going to do medical history on him. So did he think in signing it that maybe they'd look the other way because of the type of player he is, or did he think that maybe he could like sweet talk them into like bypassing? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what team wants an injured player? So
I mean, there's
um,
teams that would take a shortstop for sure.
oh yeah, but I mean, what's the point of signing somebody when they're not going to possibly not play right off the bat because of injury? But because obviously he can't play unless because he didn't pass his physical. So
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, yeah, I get long term want to sign him, but like I'm saying, just like if you're like a team, it's that's in like a win now mode. Like maybe the Giants, I'm not sure if they're win now because they're kind of like their record's kind of like even. I think, but like the Mets, like they're in a win now mode. I mean, do you want that player to play opening day? And we could say he could be ready for opening day, but who knows what the severity of the injury was and is.
Hmm.
So I mean, spring training, like you said, like people report to training in February, like January,
Yeah.
end of January, early February. So you know, for
Yeah, like
spring
pitchers and
training,
catchers and
yeah,
all
pitchers and
that.
catchers and stuff. So I don't know. So is he on the Mets or is he not?
He's just in negotiations with them. I'm assuming the Mets are trying to talk down the years and then try to get to a money number that might be pleasing to Correa, even though he's not going to get the long term deal that he wants, because they can't do that. And any good business wouldn't, sign on to a guy where there's injury concerns at a position where he's going to be, bending down, throwing a ball, and all that, putting a lot of pressure on his legs. You can't have that around 10, 12, 13 years. If
Right.
you get it like 2, 3 years, yeah, every team would take that chance, but 10 plus years, no. Well, Michael, if you're still tuned in, like, where do you think he's going? Do you think he ultimately figures it out with the Mets, and
I
that's
think
where he just ends up staying?
I think he might just stay with the Twins, man.
I mean, the twin. Well, I mean, hey, what's going on, Mick? How you doing? Um, yeah,
Nick
we're just
Thompson,
talking about
everything
Carlos
else.
Correa and his situation where he will ultimately end up. But I mean, the Twins would probably take him back, but like I said, it'd have to be a short
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
couple
Because no
year
team
deal.
would want an injured player for the short term if you're in a win now mode. So, I mean, the Mets, I don't know. They gotta wait. Like they gotta be like, hey, I mean, here's what we can give you, but if you're hurt, we might have to move on because we need you at that position. Right off the bat. And who knows? He might recover. I mean, well, I'm not sure. Is he currently hurt, or is his medical test, or just
I mean, the way I feel like is he's healthy now.
yeah?
They just saw the X-ray, saw something troubling in
Mm.
his knee, and they're wondering, can he hold up for 162 games? And if he does, how many years can we seriously expect him to do it on the knee that? All right, so Michael chimes in. The offer the Twins presented was a much smaller deal than like the. Okay, so that's kind of where we were talking about. Like, if it gets to the point where he's, he realizes he's not getting 10+ years anymore.
Yeah, he is not currently hurt. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I thought.
okay, so yeah, so if he's healthy, then I mean, there's no issue. The team would sign him, but just the fact that maybe there's a bone that's kind of like hasn't healed up yet, or a ligament. I mean, think about it, like NFL terms. Like, say, okay, like Hurts is injured right now, right? Say that there's a lingering injury, and say he's on the end of it. Hypothetically, he's on the end of his contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's severely hurt and like he played in the playoffs and he gets severely hurt again with that shoulder or whatever, and no team wants to sign. Maybe long term, I would say, but like if you're like a team that wants to be in a win down mode, no one wants to sign Jalen Hurts knowing he has a lingering shoulder issue. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing with Carrera. Like maybe there's a bone that didn't heal the shoulder properly.
I mean, if you're young enough, depending on the sport and the injury, you could be fine. It'll just be the teams will write language into the contract like, if you don't play this number of games, we can void off this year or that year or something. You have to hit a certain benchmark for us to guarantee this year, that year. So that's probably what's going on with the Mets right now. And then if that falls apart, like Michael said, the Twins could come back and say, hey, we gave you our terms. You could come back on those numbers because obviously you're not going to get what you really want out in the open market. You're going to have to prove that you can, make it through the next couple of years and not give these teams the satisfaction of, doubting your ability to play long term because of what they pulled up on your, X-ray or whatever. But I mean, it's a fascinating story. Hopefully, he and the Mets, I guess, figure it out so the story can actually finally end.
Right.
Because I mean, even for him and his agent, it's got to be like,
I mean,
if we don't get San Francisco, if we don't get the Mets, what do we do?
Imagine how the Giants feel. Like, I mean, they were getting ready for the introductory press conference for him, and then they're going to find out his medical history was not good. Like they missed out on Aaron Judge for like I would say 7 minutes because of the fake report.
Mm-hmm.
They missed out on that. I mean, we all knew he was going back to the Yankees. I mean, I knew that. But I mean, the Giants thought they had him, didn't have him. Thought they had Carrera in the bag, didn't have him.
Yeah.
So what are the Giants?
I don't get why they got to the point of like announcing the press conference before actually getting the full results. And then the Mets did it too, but the Mets kind of just postponed it and didn't really say why. And then it came out later that they're not, too enthusiastic about what they found in the report as well. So I don't know. I mean, what helps that there's a DH in the National League now. So at least, the Mets can work in some days to kind of, I guess, prolong his ability to get through the season by, putting him at DH a few days and then, put him at shortstop or whatever. So once again, we'll see. But, like we say every week, if there's something that breaks in this story, we'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's see what Michael says here. The player-agent relationship in this context would have known the due diligence each team would have followed. Yeah, we said that before. Like the fact that he's going out there trying to get these big deals, knowing
that
these teams are going to go through their due diligence, seems kind of crazy. I'm not a baseball player, and I'm not Carlos Correa. So, I mean, Carlos Correa, once again, he saw the money being thrown around. He's like, I got to get in on this.
Right.
I'm not mad at him for trying, but teams aren't dumb. But I mean, you got anything else you want to talk about in terms of MLB? Because we're still.
I mean, I know Aaron Judge has had his press conference, introductory press conference. They named him the 16th captain of the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he deserves it.
Look who's joining. What's going on, Dylan?
Oh, 1 second. I don't think my headset's on, so it's just normal volume. But
why did Dylan sound like? Why did it sound like being like, oh, for the dog?
I thought it was connected to my headset, but it literally disconnected right when I connected it. When I joined, so that's not fun.
That's cool. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
just
that-
talking.
Yeah, that
Carlos
mustache, man. You gotta shave that shit off, man.
Yeah. I got the sides, got the chin. I got it all clean. I gotta get this trimmed up though.
Yeah. No, we were talking about the Carrera, that whole fiasco.
Bro, the A's are gonna sign him for $270K.
Is that like a obvious? Is that like a real take, or that's just sarcastic?
I mean,
He's not going to pass physical.
Yeah, because as Michael put in the chat, like
Everyone's
the
just worried
Twins
about
offered
his
him
stuff, so.
a short year deal with some money, because I'm sure the Twins know about this, but Correa was seeing all the money being thrown around, thought he could get some of that, but now with this whole medical thing running around the league, even if he doesn't sign with the Mets, any other team that starts talking to him, they're going to be like, how about 3-4 years at whatever dollar amount? If you want it, cool. If not, we got nothing for you.
Yeah, it's just a whole fiasco, man.
Bro, it's probably going to be some contender like the Padres or the Astros getting them for like cheap.
No, after me.
Padres have 4 shortstops already. If they sign Correa, that's going to be crazy.
They won't care.
I mean, yeah, they won't. It's just that the way they're building that team is just.
Can Carrera play just shortstop, or can he play like any infield position?
I mean, most shortstops can play second right away, and then most of them can play third pretty easily. I mean, any infielder can really play first, because the only thing you really have to worry about is, not straying too far from the bag, guarding the line, and all that kind of stuff. But if you're an athlete, you can play first. Now, with his knee and all that, I think outfield is probably out of the question, because you don't really want
him to run
there. But I mean, they would find room for him, obviously.
Yeah.
And we'll see whether it's the Mets, Twins, or some unnamed team we don't even know about yet. I mean, my Red Sox need a shortstop, but I mean, I don't know. I'm good on that. Just move Trevor Story there and call it a day.
Yeah, you don't want a health risk.
Yeah. All right. NBA now. The NBA just had their, biggest day of the year for them, Christmas Day. Football has Thanksgiving. Christmas is normally about basketball, but we did have football this year. But looking at the Christmas Day games, what are some of your initial reactions based off of the matches we saw? I mean, we saw the Sixers have a comeback, beat the Knicks. We saw Aaron Gordon try to kill a man.
Shamet.
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah, he was having a game that game too.
Yeah, Shamet was like their offense for a good stretch of that game. Jaylen Brown tried to end Brooke Lopez, and then Tatum took it to Giannis. John Morant, who said he's cool in the West, lost to the Warriors. I mean, there's just storylines all over the place.
LeBron,
he almost ended a man.
Yeah.
LeBron had to carry the team, and then Luka went berserk.
Yeah. Where do you guys want to start? Which game?
Lakers were leading that game, and then all of a sudden, Mavs just took off. What? But
that's gonna happen.
I'm sorry, you had me dying when you had Aaron Gordon almost killed a man. Shaman.
Aaron Gordon was having a game too.
That don't count it, right? Like they got
it
reverse,
did.
Right?
It didn't at first, but then they turned it up. They reversed it.
Yeah, and it was the right goal.
It looked like a charge at first. I can see where they saw it was a charge at first. I kind of agreed. I was like, yeah, that's a charge, but also I like Landry Shamet. I like Wichita State players. That's kind of like a team I root for. When Oklahoma's doing bad, I like seeing Wichita State do decent. They've had some good teams, NCAA teams for sure.
Yep.
And so, I was like, yeah, it's a charge. And then I saw the replay and I was like, oh, he did move. So give it to him.
Yeah. For all in all, it was a really good day for the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was very eventful.
All the games were really good. Had all good moments.
Giannis got into with wasn't it like Jaylen Brown? Man, Jaylen Brown don't want that smoke from Giannis, man.
Why not? No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. Man.
Giannis is like.
Because if you think about it, Jaylen Brown started it. He kind of like kicked him on the hip.
Giannis was mad he was getting destroyed. That's all it was.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm not mad at him.
I feel like Giannis would take on both Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown at the same time and just destroy them.
Marcus Smart looks like a dirty fighter. I don't know if you'd want that.
Yeah, but Giannis had that
Marcus
reach.
Marcus Smart's a scrapper.
Yeah.
He's a scrapper, but I mean, Giannis, like, you think he's gonna
chop block him, stomp on his toes? He'd do all that kind of stuff. Slow him down.
Oh yeah, like you said, it was like good week of basketball, good day of basketball for sure. I mean, I want my Lakers to beat the Mavs, but freaking Doncic went off, man.
That was pie in the sky thinking for you.
I mean, they were up like most of the game, and all of a sudden they came back like second half.
There's one problem. LeBron's 38. That gas tank is going to eventually get to E at some point, and then somebody else is going to step up.
I wouldn't say it's LeBron's. I wouldn't say it's all LeBron's fault that game. He did his part.
No, I'm just saying that at some point he's going to run low, and then one of those other guys is going to have to step up for a little bit of a stretch run. Who's going to do it for him?
I don't know. I don't know what Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka are doing right now. I don't know.
They're kind of doing what they can at this point. I mean, the most you can hope for is, come trade deadline, some team gets desperate.
Like, I wonder how that front office is working like right now. Like they're like,
they can call anybody, but teams are going to ask,
what
do you have to give us? And Pelinka's going to be like, do you want Dennis Schroeder? And they're like, no.
I think the Lakers would be in a better. I think they might get a play-in spot this year, but I think since isn't Russell's contract done after this year with the Lakers? Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of money that we're giving up, like that we're going to be getting back from Russell's contract. So, I think we're going to be in a better position next year because with the whole cap and stuff and getting players.
I don't even think you guys are in a bad position now per se. I think them waiting towards the deadline to make a move is probably smart. Let's see if any of those other bench pieces you have can just go on a stretch or a good stretch and up their trade value a little bit more before that deadline, because right now they don't have any value. At least let them try to make a name and get some value so you can move them for a Kyle Kuzma or something like that.
Yeah, Laker fans are just gonna have to stick it out for now. It's gonna get ugly because when they play your Mavs, Pelicans,
they're playing the Magic right now. Actually,
Magic will give them trouble because the Magic are young, quick, and you don't know what you're gonna get from the Magic every day. But the Magic are clicking; they'll give the Lakers problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's first quarter. It's 24-21 right now, Lakers. So. It's matter early, so.
Yeah. But Laker fans are just gonna have to be realistic about it. It's until AD comes back, and even then, you got to worry how healthy he'll be, how much game time he'll need to get back into the shape he was before. So you might even lose games when he comes back because he's just trying to get his feet under him again. And looking at the standings, you're not going to see yourself in the top 6. Okay, deal with that. But if you're fighting for a play-in, it is what it is.
And as long as you make that field, once you make that field, it's 7 games from then on now. So you have 7 games to, at least 7 games. Well, at maximum 7 games to try to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that, like you said, you just gotta be patient. Mike D'Antoni, maybe wait till the deadline. Maybe see if he can get a Miles Turner. We just need shooters, man. We need shooters that can, stretch the floor out.
Problem is,
got a lot of issues.
What do you give up? You might have to give up the few shooters you might have now to get other shooters, which kind of counterproductive. But all right, so Jordan, as a Lakers fan, looking at them right now, I'm assuming you don't want to trade LeBron. I'm assuming you don't want to trade AD. Okay. Outside of that,
you know what? I love AD. I love AD, but y'all might love me for this. I'm on the fence for trading AD because, like y'all said, he can't.
Okay. We're getting somewhere now.
But then
see,
again,
it's not a deadline deal, but definitely an off-season deal. I would consider it.
Yeah, off-season deal for sure. I just he has to prove to me he can stay healthy for a whole year. Like with him saying that he hasn't tried a basketball since in the offseason he hadn't started basketball since like March something. That was crazy, man. It's just like.
Well, I mean, I can understand that if he's working on his body or something, maybe. But I think Tatum said that one year, like he hadn't shot a basketball in a while. And people were like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he still had a good year.
It's supposed to be the next best thing. Why didn't you shoot it?
I think the Cowboys fan in the group chat, Doug, man, he went off on AD, man. He was like, "Yo, throw the kitchen sink at AD, like get that mother out of here, man!" Like he was going off on AD. Man.
I will give Doug credit. He's one of the few Cowboys fans who's like realistic, and he's a Lakers fan.
I'm realistic too, but like, I mean, I see.
I'm just saying, as a Cowboys fan.
Oh yeah,
his level of realism, you don't see a lot from Cowboys fans.
Oh no, they're like,
and Lakers fans, yeah. There's some that are, like get rid of AD, blah blah blah, and there's other ones who are just like, well, let's wait for him to come back. We'll be good again. And it's like, no, you won't.
I mean, he was putting up like the good numbers before he went down. So like, I don't know.
He's the ultimate tease. That's what he's going to be.
He always does good before he goes down. It's like he's always playing at a great level. Defensive Player of the Year, MVP candidate, always playing good. And then it's like
I look at what he wears on the court, like those low tops, like no ankle support. I mean, I'm being serious. Or like, you should wear like high tops, or
you should just get ankle braces. Like, I get not like wearing high tops. I didn't like wearing high tops in basketball.
I mean, Curry.
When I wore my low tops.
Curry has 4 ankles, and he has ankle braces.
Curry understands his ankles are fragile. He's doing all he can to make sure that he protects them. Yeah. AD, I mean, unless you're gonna wrap him in bubble wrap, I don't know, because he's had all other types of injuries other than feet and all that. So I don't know. What do you protect on him?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But back to my original question. So you're on the fence with AD. You're not trading LeBron.
No.
Even though I could say you might want to entertain that as well, but we'll save that for.
Oh man, if we're gonna trade LeBron, we're in a rebuild.
Nah, almost you get some pieces.
Yeah,
you still have AD as your centerpiece.
Something for him. You would just have to identify a piece to trade him for, and then build around that person.
Where would you see LeBron go? Where would you want him to go?
Back to Cleveland. See if you can get like Garland.
I mean, I don't think the Lakers would want to trade him like this year.
Oh, if the Lakers got an offer for like Darius Garland or someone like that, I'm pretty sure the Lakers take that.
Yeah, but who's going to be that small forward?
Don't matter when you have a point guard and a power forward. You have also a lot more cap space because Garland's on a max, so I guess he's making a lot, but still, you got a point guard for a future. You get off that rest money, you can sign a decent small forward.
And the Lakers have to think about, could we build around Garland easier than an aging LeBron? Where we have to pinpoint specific people that fit his play style. We got to try to get them from other places with what we have here. We don't have draft picks, and we don't have like a first round pick until 25.
I think 27.
I mean, I know a lot of people are calling for Pelinka's head, but it's like,
and they're flirting about
in that position,
and they're flirting about using that draft pick for like leverage, but I don't think I would do that.
All right, Steven. What's going on, Steven? Lakers need to rebuild. Trade Westbrook, AD, and James, get some younger players and draft picks. I was kind of getting around.
I would say they're gonna rebuild. I'll say rebuild next year, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I would say if you're doing a rebuild, you would keep AD, then you'd have to trade LeBron and Westbrook. I think if you're doing a rebuild, trading all three would make a lot of sense.
He provides no help with shooting. Yeah, he can pass the ball. He gets like 9 assists here and there, but rebounding here and there too. But like, he can't put up. He can't shoot. Like, What?
There's a lot
and get rid of
people on the
Beverly.
team that can't shoot.
I mean, get rid of Beverly. He has no value to our team.
Okay, so you just said he has no value. What do you think you're going to get from anybody else for him? Second round pick?
No, man. If I'm not a Lakers
Juan
fan,
Toscano Anderson. Oh wait, you still have him. I was just naming a random player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next topic, man. No, sorry.
I'd actually think. I think Pat Bev would have some value just because, like, how much of a
Certain
menace he is to other
situations,
people.
yes, Pat Bev fits certain.
certain things.
Yeah.
Dude gets like 0 points and 2 assists.
Hey,
Technical fouls somehow.
He'll make a layup and say too small. Clown. I mean, I don't know. Because Pat Beverly was like, after Minnesota last year, people were loving Pat Beverly. I mean, the celebration to make the play-in or whatever it was a little much, but
That was hilarious.
like taking off his jersey.
Michael has a good point. The Lakers, as an organization, do not have their tendency to rebuild. Because they're always every year. I mean, not every year, but like they are known as like the prominent team. Most championships.
They're one of the franchises. They're one of the big franchises.
Like Michael has a good point. Their temperament. They're not really in a goal to rebuild. They want to find pieces where they can win now. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are young, who want to win, who can shoot, can help out the record. I mean, we're only like 13 or 14 and 20. I mean, we're not that far off the grid. I mean, All-Star picking around the corner like in February.
For a Lakers team with AD, LeBron, and Westbrook, that's.
But I'm saying, whoever the trade deadline, who we can get, we'll see. This team might be different after the trade deadline or after the All-Star break.
What would their record look like, though? They could be so far out that buying at that point wouldn't make any sense. Like if this stretch without AD turns into them being like 10, 12 games under 500, why buy at the trade deadline to do what? Try to finish 11th, try to finish 10th and sneak into the play-in? Wouldn't be worth it. At that point, sell off what you can, go into the offseason, clean slate, have a plan, and start rebuilding or reloading, whatever you want to call it. Start from that point. I mean, to sit there, like if they're in 13th, couple of games out of 10th, oh, we're training for Miles Turner. Okay. To finish 10th and then lose in the first round.
Hey, but the only thing I can say is, I mean, like Brooklyn wasn't doing good. Now they're on like a 9-game win streak. So teams can turn it around. You know what I'm saying? That proves that teams can turn it around.
But Kyrie have way more talent than the Lakers.
Oh no, but I'm saying that can prove that if you have a down year with distractions, you can win games. Even with that whole fiasco with Kyrie and Durant and Ben Simmons, they're finding a way to win. So
they're young and more talented.
I mean, they're young, but I mean, who their big men?
Simmons 8, 7, and 5.
In this league, you only worry about big men against Philly with Embiid, Denver with Jokic. Yeah, Giannis.
I mean, AD when he's healthy.
Well, I was just talking about in terms of. Well, yeah, okay. I guess we'll talk about all teams. Yeah, Lakers, Cleveland with Jared Allen and Mobley. Outside of that, you can get by with a small ball lineup. I mean, the Celtics are running it basically when Rob Williams was out. They were starting Blake Griffin at 5.
Is he back, Robert Williams?
Yep. He's slowly, getting into form. He's playing like I think 15 minutes a night right now. I mean, he looks good, but he just has to get used to the new offense and all that. But all right, we'll move to another team. Enough Lakers talk. So with the Celtics win over Milwaukee, did they reestablish themselves as the best team in the NBA?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a little tough because with what's the rigmarole going on in the West of like the first place with like the Suns, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, all of those teams would probably give the Celtics a good run for their money. But as of now, the Celtics still have the best record in the NBA. Am I right?
Yes.
And they beat the Bucks, who also probably have one of those higher up records. So I think that goes without saying. I think, the Celtics are the best team until proven otherwise. I mean, it's really hard to test against these West teams because you play them once or twice a season. So,
yeah. So what you think, Jordan? I know the Laker blood in you hates talking Celtics, but we're winning and you're not, so deal with it.
Wow. So the question was
the Celtics' performance against Milwaukee reestablish, if maybe you didn't think they were the best team in basketball, but reestablish that idea that they are the best team in the NBA right now.
They're 24 wins right now. 24 and 10.
Maybe a game and a half up on.
Yeah, they're a half game up on the Bucks.
Okay. All right. So Michael says most complete team currently.
Agreed.
I would say that, I guess.
I mean, just overall depth. They have good scorers in Tatum and Brown. They have great defensive players in Robert Williams and Marcus Smart. When Robert Williams gets back, he's one of the better defenders, at least at the center position in the NBA. So they have great defenders there. They have great athleticism. They have great playmaking with someone like Malcolm Brogdon, and even like Jaylen Brown again. So I agree that they're definitely the most complete team. You look at all the other teams in the NBA, and they're lacking something. They're lacking something. So, and then when you look at the Celtics, it's like, what really are they lacking? It's just a matter of just, maybe having a bad game, a bad shot, something there is what gets to them.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that, one of the keys to this season has been Marcus Smart's kind of ability to play the point guard position and take on that role, because we saw past couple of years, Steven said West is really wide open. We'll talk about the West in a little bit. But past few years, Marcus Smart was a guy who, everybody said he takes too many threes. He, takes too many shots, not necessarily just threes. He, flops around, which sometimes gets him in trouble and all that. But, I mean, when they're playing really well, Marcus Smart will give you 9, 10 assists. He'll still shoot the three, but it seems like when he's in the flow of the game, he's knocking down big threes late in games. He still has the defense there. So I think the only thing that probably would keep the Celtics from winning it all would be kind of themselves, because when they get in trouble is when they get away from their fast break basketball, passing to get better shots. It's when they get bogged down half court and Tatum and Brown feel like they have to do it themselves, which they don't do that as much this season as they did last year, but every once in a while they kind of get locked into that mode. That's when, they become easier to defend. So I agree with Michael. They're the most complete team. I guess just to let you guys know, I am the Celtics fan on this panel, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, I think one problem that might come up with the Celtics is I feel like if you get into their head, I feel like that's when they struggle. I feel like if you get into Tatum a little bit, he struggles a little bit. If he's having a bad game and someone's jawing at him, he doesn't really like that. He'll try to go out and get a bucket back, and sometimes his numbers looks a little off. Yeah. That's the only thing with that team is if someone's talking with you, getting into your head, making you play harder, making you off your game plan, they struggle a little bit.
I can see that. I think Mazzulla's done a great job too.
Oh yeah. It was smart just keeping him and not getting anybody else.
Yeah. He's kind of let them, I guess, tap into their offensive potential. But all right, so now look at the West, and Steven brought up West is really wide open. The John Morant comment, I think it was Malika Andrews interviewing him, talking about who's the team that you're watching out for. Whole face, Celtics. She's like, you're not worried about anybody in the West. No, we're good on the West. Well, Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors went up against them and just demolished them. So, question to you. I believe losing finals last year was the turn for themselves. Yes, I definitely agree with that as well. Michael and Tatum's kind of talked about that. He understands what it takes to win now, so that's what he's, focusing on. But with the West, right now, with December 27th, who do you think is winning the West?
Look at this race.
Most people have
Denver 21, 22.
if you still believe in Phoenix, the Clippers,
I
Dallas.
mean, I don't know because it's like a half game, 2.5 games, 3.5 games. So anyone can like make a run.
But I'm saying, like, right now, who do you think is the best team in the West? We don't say like who you think will finish first in the West, but right now, who do you think is the best team in the West? Looking at that list of teams there.
Oh, man. If I look at it, man, the Nuggets did play very well against the Suns. I did enjoy watching that game. I do like that Nuggets team. I think Nikola Jokic is just a different player. I was saying, like, I'm pretty sure me and Livewire were saying it. Just give that man his MVP already again. Something about Jokic. He's always getting his numbers. He's definitely putting that team on his back.
Yeah.
I do like the Nuggets a lot. The Grizzlies make me struggle. That Warriors game definitely showed me a side of the Grizzlies that, like I said about the Celtics, like the Grizzlies seemed like keyboard warriors.
Thought about them, yes.
Yep. The Grizzlies were like keyboard warriors, basically. And when it came to like actually like the game happening, and like you hear Draymond, you see Clay, you see everyone like actually talking against you. When you struggle, booing you, making fun of you when you miss shots. Clay Thompson running up to Dylan Brooks when he's falling, talking crap. Like,
yeah.
It's gonna get to him. So I don't have a lot of faith in the Grizzlies there. They just seem like they're young. They'll get there. And I'm not saying that they can't win a playoffs or a championship this year. It's very possible. They're very talented. It's just any given time. But with that being said, like they definitely are going to struggle against those more vetted teams that have a lot of playoff experience. Like if they do have to go up against a team like the Warriors or maybe the Clippers, I don't feel like they're going to have an easy time against someone like if they had lucky to go up against like the Pelicans maybe, or get lucky and get the Kings.
I mean, the Grizzlies, they do have a little stretch of games where they definitely could. They have the Toronto next, or no, the Suns next. Toronto, the Pelicans.
So Michael says the Nuggets are currently the best and most unique team in the West.
I would say the best team would be Nuggets. Yeah.
And Steven said Pelicans are a sleeper team, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I was thinking Pelicans, the top two teams, Nuggets and Pelicans, but.
I like the Pelicans a lot. Worried, just injuries are kind of just always a scare for me there. CJ McCollum hasn't played the full season. Zion hasn't played the full season. And not saying like them missing a couple games are bad or anything like that. It's just with players like those, they have some injury history. It's scary with that Pelicans team. But I do think they're really talented. They're definitely like my second or third place team for sure.
Okay. Feelings on the Suns. Where do they fit in all this to you?
I think they're close. I mean, they're not horrid. They're not like I think the worst team or anything like that. Like not the worst team out of the bunch of these teams. I don't know. Devin Booker not playing in that game really hurt them. I think when Devin Booker's playing and healthy, they're one of the better teams. It just depends. It doesn't seem like they can't. Well, it doesn't seem like they have a lot without Devin Booker. I know Landry Shamet had some good games, but are we gonna can like rely on Landry Shamet to drop 30 every game? So it's gonna be interesting. I think they're really good. I think if they get a healthy Devin Booker back, they're definitely one of the top teams. I mean, they were first last year, and they weren't even that. They're not even that far off from being first again this year right now. So I think, yeah, the Suns are definitely up there, especially with a healthy Devin Booker. Better than the Nuggets, possibly. I mean, the Suns did take them to OT without a Devin Booker. I mean, 4 minutes of Devin Booker, so possibly, but we'll see. I don't know. The Suns are always hot and cold with me. Like, I like watching them play, and then just sometimes, like, they just have cold spells or they just don't play well and they don't look good.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Suns either sliding or moving up. I mean, they're 19 and 13, I think. Yeah, Yeah, they're 19 and 15 actually. So I mean, they can kill their own destiny. Or like, I mean, they can either slide up, or slide down. Looking at their trying to look at their next couple games. They play the Grizzlies. Washington, Toronto.
Yeah, they play the Grizzlies today.
In January, they play the Knicks, Cavaliers, Heat, Cavaliers again, Warriors. Nuggets. They got a tough schedule.
So Steven gives his top three. He's got Suns, Nuggets, Grizzlies. Interesting.
I say Nuggets, Pelicans, Grizzlies.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put the Pels in there because the Pelicans do have 2 wins already over the Suns. They've already beat the Nuggets once. They did lose to the Jazz. The Suns also do have a win on them. It's just, I don't know. Pelicans beating the Nuggets.
Can y'all see the Warriors make with Curry coming back?
Oh yeah, I think the Warriors will be fine.
They're 16 and 18, but
for the Warriors, they stopped caring about the regular season years ago. For them, they just want to kind of be in the top 6, and then at that point, maneuver themselves to get the proper matchup that they want, and they'll be fine. If you have Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Poole, who, could turn around and drop 40 one random night.
And then get you 7 the next.
Right. Poole, he's an interesting one. But, Golden State shouldn't worry about anything right now.
Yeah, if you look at the teams above them, you have the Kings, Mavericks, Trailblazers, Jazz are 7, 8, and 9 above them. 6, 7, 8, and 9 above them. I think they'll get that 6th spot.
Yeah. I want the Kings to hang in it. I know that fan base has gone through some rough years recently, and they seem like they have an exciting group right now. I do wonder if Halliburton was still there, how it would look, because I really like Halliburton and he's doing well in Indiana. And for Jordan, you might want to, chill on the Miles Turner talk, because if the Pacers keep winning, they're probably not going to trade anybody.
Yeah,
which means they keep Buddy Hield too. But
they're 17 and 17. They're on the cusp right now.
Yeah, and not a lot was expected out of them this year.
And they play the Hawks. They're playing the Hawks right now, I think. So
yeah, good old Hawks. They're going through it too. Before we go to it, get to the NFL, I do want to talk about the Hawks a little bit.
We also got to do our all-star picks.
Yes, definitely. I'm starting to see I think people on the internet are kind of zeroing in on the Hawks because Trae Young.
A lot of Trae Young trade requests have came up since we talked last time.
And it's kind of interesting because it seems like this will be the second coach he's had in Atlanta that he's kind of butted heads with. I think some fans and media people in Atlanta are starting to wonder if Trae Young can be a number one and win a title with him. I've kind of wondered that as well. But what are your thoughts on the Hawks? Do you think they should entertain trading Trae Young, or?
I don't. So this is way harder for me because I'm an Oklahoma fan. Trae Young went there, and then I'm a Hawks fan, and that's where Trae Young currently plays. So it's a lot harder for me. I don't want to see him go. One of my favorite college players go from my favorite NBA team, and I don't personally think so. I think if you look at it, Trae Young is this centerpiece of the team. You passed on Luka Doncic for Trae Young. You got to think about that at the same day.
I still can't believe they did that.
And in hindsight, it looks like a bad trade, and it is with how Luka's doing. But Trae Young has done his thing in Atlanta. When you look at it, outside of probably all NBA awards, they have the same amount of MVPs, none. All the other awards, they have the same amount of conference championship appearances, one. So,
yeah.
But with that being said, I feel like you do whatever you can to do whatever you can and just submit to Trae Young, but you listen to what needs to go on, listen to what he hears. Because personally, I'd rather trade DeJounte Murray again before I trade Trae Young.
I mean, if they're going to trade, if they're going to think about trading Trae Young, they should just like think about a rebuild because, like you said, like Dylan says that Trae Young is that centerpiece that you can build around. It's still young, but why would you? I mean, but like y'all said, like I mean that whole like Luka Doncic like draft night trade probably gonna it's probably looked at as one of the I guess like this had like one of the worst trades because now I think
I mean,
Luka's way better
you
than
can look
Trey.
through the Hawks history. There's some other ones that were troubling.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's the worst trade. I mean, I don't think anything's
like,
going to beat
in
that
modern-
Nets Celtics trade. Nothing will beat that.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean,
yeah.
it's gonna be rough because if we won't need to go into a rebuild if we trade Trae Young, not unless like we just say screw it and get tons of picks and call that good. We'll get a player. We'll get a young star. To where he might go, I don't know. The Wizards would be interesting if he does get traded. Not like I'd want anything back from them outside of like you giving us Bradley Beal, but I don't imagine he'd be movable in that situation. It'd probably be like we get Porzingis and some young players back. Man, I don't know.
You brought up Bradley Beal because I think he and Trae Young may have similar paths in the NBA where Bradley Beal's been in Washington forever. He was there with John Wall when he was John Wall's number 2 guy. They didn't win. John Wall was hurt a lot. Bradley Beal's been the number 1 guy there for a few years now. They're still not winning. And I think a lot of people are bringing up the question of, is Bradley Beal a number 1 guy on a championship team? Or is he just like a really good number 2?
I've always thought of him as a really good number 2. I've liked Bradley Beal a lot, but like I've always looked at that Wizards team and like we'll be crazy if Hawk traded Matt Young to the Lakers.
Don't get Jordan's hopes up.
I saw Ty. He said, "What did Trae Young?" He sent me a picture of Trae Young in a Hawks, like in his Hawks practice uniform when he did tryouts with him. Oh, not Hawks, Knicks practice uniform when they did tryouts with him. Yeah. That'd be crazy.
Like Steven is, you know what? I was gonna go out on a limb and say that. Hey, what would Trae look like in a purple and gold jersey? Like, I mean, a young piece. They can build around.
A turnstile on the perimeter. Laker fans will hate him when he takes a logo 3 and LeBron throws his hands up in the air.
I don't know,
but
also at the same time, if he's hitting him,
it's a young piece, man. It's a young piece that can definitely,
Con Man, what's going on?
What's up, fellas? Love the show. Sharing this. The Con Man. What's up on the show?
Join at any time. We're always available for guests.
Oh, wait, Michael put in Trae Young compared to Kyle Murray. Can you win with a size disadvantage at key positions? Man, that is one thing that Trae Young can't really help is he's a pint-sized point guard.
The good thing with Trae Young is he's like shifty. He's crafty. I'm not saying he's like the craftiest.
I mean, Kyrie isn't like 6 foot.
Good.
I mean, Kyrie's way better skill, but I'm saying like it doesn't matter. I mean, point guards are usually like 6'3", 6'4". How tall is Trae Young? Like 6 foot?
Yeah, he's like 6'1", 6'2".
So I mean, that's the perfect size for a point guard. I mean, other than if you're a shooting guard, that's a problem.
Well,
Curry's like 6'3", 6'4". But then again,
when I found that out, I was kind of surprised that Curry was that tall. I always thought of Curry as like a 6 foot, 6'1" guy for some reason.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Never would have thought that. I guess
it's so crazy watching NBA games. It's so crazy watching NBA games and thinking like you're really 6'4". Like you don't look that big on the TV, and then like when people see him in real life, it's like, oh no, you're 6'4". Okay.
Yeah. I know.
You are my height.
I know Klay Thompson was like 6'7". Until I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4" because he was a shooting guard, but
like I can't even imagine like Klay Thompson being
MJ
5
was
inches
like
taller
what,
than
6'6". I thought Kobe was short. He's like 6'6", 6'5", or he was 6'5".
Yeah. The NBA is weird like that. Like I feel like if I saw Durant in person, he'd probably look probably much taller than he even does on TV. Just because he's like real lanky and something. I feel like, yeah. Some people even think he's 7 foot, even though he's listed at like.
You think
Giannis,
you think Giannis is small? Like on TV, Giannis is probably like. I mean, I saw Giannis like in DC. He was huge, but like now, like think of him like in person, like how big he is. Like Embiid, like these men are huge. Like
I mean, Embiid, yeah, I could.
he's a big body guy.
He's a big guy, yeah. But
But
yeah,
I'm
probably
saying
seeing a
for-
person as big as he is and tall would probably be like, okay, whoa. But I guess we get into NBA All-Star picks right now. Have you guys filled out a ballot or anything?
I
on
did.
NBA?
Oh, I didn't even do that yet. Nah.
I haven't yet, but we can kind of go through.
Did me and you kind of do this last year, or this is our first time doing All-Star picks?
That's our first time. Yeah,
Huh.
NBA All-Star. Yeah, it's our first time doing this. Trying to see who the leaders are right now, if they've even done this yet. NBA All-Star.
Yeah, if you go to the All-Star actual voting thing, like it will tell you by who's like leading in points and specific things like that. You can sort it by assists, rebounds. It will tell you. It will put it even in the guards for you in the proper positions.
All right. Yeah, I just pulled it up. So let's see. No, that's the wrong.
So are we
you haven't
starting with
pulled
the West or the East?
Let's start with the West.
All right. You got it pulled up, Jordan?
Yeah, like where is it at?
Just look up NBA All-Star voting.
Okay.
And then if you tap on the first one, wait for it to load, scroll a little bit, and it will say voting is now open in like blue, and tap on that, and then we'll take it there.
All right, 1 second.
All good.
Update voting is now open. What should I do? How to vote? Start voting now, or what should I?
I think we'll go probably pick by pick, but like we're starting with the West guards.
No, I'm
At least
saying
I
like
say
this
West.
is my screen. Like, should I do?
Hit vote now.
Vote
Yeah.
now? All right. Right now, it's
All right.
court.
So I
Yeah,
think
so you
my
hit
first
the
West
plus
guard.
sign. Hit the plus sign on the West side for one of the guard spots.
Oh, so we're in the West. Oh,
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
I mean,
So I think my first West. I think we're probably all gonna have a unanimous West guard, at least starter wise, and
Like,
that's
I
gonna be
just-
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, are we starting with like the top two in the on the arc first, or are we starting the down
yeah,
low?
the guard spots
Oh,
for
the
the
guard-
West side.
all right.
Yeah, the guards
So
will
just-
be twos.
Tap one of the pluses.
All right.
Oh, there's some interesting guards though.
Yeah, look
Because
at
I mean,
their
everybody's gonna
stats.
go Luka, but
Yeah, Luka's gonna be definitely one of my
Yeah.
picks.
But I mean, SGA having a really good year. You still got Steph. You know, Steph's gonna get votes. You got John Morant,
Got Devin Booker, Damian Lillard's making a little bit of a
Anthony
case.
Edwards. You can't
Anthony
sleep
Edwards,
on him.
he's been quiet, man. Like
Who?
Anthony Edwards these days.
He's averaging a nice, cool 23 points, more
I'm saying like
assists,
people aren't
rebounds.
like talking about him much, right?
Yeah, he hasn't really been as much in the news as he's been lately. He's just kind of quietly been doing his thing.
That's more of a product of Minnesota not really
Man,
getting out to the start than a lot of people.
I wish
still
we could do like a group thingy where we can like take turns and like do like a draft. Like you know how me and Gene, like you, Gene, yo, we should do that like a draft. Well, that would take forever, but like you know how Gene did the draft similar. Hey, we did like a random pick.
Yeah,
Get our picks.
yeah, we did the 3-on-3 thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, for this, we're just basically seeing who are you voting for the guards in the West. Because, like Dylan said, we're probably all going to go Luka as one of them.
Yeah, I'm going Luka.
So, who would you give that second guard spot to?
Man. Well, depending on if Curry's going to be available by All-Star game.
I think I'm going to
pretty
still
sure.
go Curry. I think I'm still going to put Curry in that second spot. As much as I like SGA and he's having good numbers, I mean, if you look at it on a statistic standpoint, he's only averaging 1.6 more points, and that's about it. Curry beats him in everything else, and plus the Warriors have a better record. I think Curry and Luka are probably going to be my two picks for the guard spots.
Yeah. But SGA definitely should get a reserve spot.
Yeah, he should definitely get a reserve.
Well, isn't the All-Star game doesn't matter if you're in the East or West, right? Like Nowadays,
it all gets drafted. It all gets drafted, but they have to choose the East and West.
Yeah, we have to choose the starting 5 because then that starting 5 will be.
And then they'll start. And then those 10 that we pick.
Yep, they'll draft it.
Then those 10 that we pick, they'll pick from the 10.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I gotta put LeBron as my forward.
Are you going Luka and Curry as well, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm going Luka Curry for up top.
Okay, so forwards.
I have to go LeBron. And then I think I'm gonna go Jokic.
Okay.
And then
I went Bron, Jokic, and Zion.
Ooh.
That's not bad. That is not bad.
LeBron, Jokic. I'm gonna do Jokic. I'm gonna do Jermaine Grant.
Really?
Grant? Really?
That's interesting.
He did have a good game.
If you wanted to go off the wall, I'd probably go Lauri Markkanen over Jeremy Grant.
Not even. Trailblazers got a better record. I mean,
I know,
but I guess Markkanen's doing really crazy on that rebound number.
Yes. But Jeremy Grant, I did not see that one coming.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw his numbers. I mean,
that's not a bad spot to go. I would probably go. I mean, yes, LeBron is an obvious one. I think Jokic is an obvious one. But the third guy, because you have Paul George as well. Only thing would be the amount of games he's played. You know, would you hold that against it to the point where you wouldn't make him a starter? But when he's played, he's putting up crazy numbers. That's the thing with the West. Like a lot of the West players, it's like injuries.
Yep.
But I kind of feel like you have to reward the Pelicans with a starter. So,
damn, you know what? Damn, I didn't see Zion. He's like down on the list.
He was like the fourth one for me.
Yeah, he's like the fourth one on the list.
Oh shit, there he is. So I might have to remove off Grant and put in one. I didn't know about that. Zion.
I mean, I can see Grant as a reserve.
Yeah, I think if he definitely keeps his numbers up, he could definitely be a decent reserve.
Yeah. So did we all do Curry, Doncic, LeBron?
Yeah, we all had the same 5.
Zion?
If for the East, I mean, I did the East. I did Mitchell, Trae Young, Embiid, Tatum, and Giannis.
Okay.
It's hard to leave KD out there because KD's.
Alrighty.
I mean, yeah.
So these guard spots is definitely tough. I want to put Trae Young in there. I want to put Jaylen Brown in there, but I also want to put
Donovan Mitchell in there.
It's probably too bad Maxey got hurt because Maxey would have been, in the running for a starting spot for sure as well. I mean, I've been talking about Halliburton for a while, but I think Halliburton's probably
might be a reserve.
Yeah.
Man, maybe you look at the guards.
Young, you like he's 27 and a half points. He's right behind Donovan, so he's definitely.
Yeah, this guard list is tough. Bradley Beal, Kyrie, DeRozan, but Chicago's just not good enough. I'm going Mitchell and Brown.
I think I'm going Young and Brown.
What's going on, Lennon?
Hey
guys, I would say Donovan Mitchell has made the case too. Yeah, I'm going Donovan Mitchell and Jaylen Brown.
I'm going Trae Young and Jaylen Brown.
Okay. Wait, who are your guards again, Jordan?
He had
I had Donovan and
Young and Mitchell. So we all got different guards.
Okay.
I like Donovan Mitchell. I think he's good. It's just I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of Cavs games, I guess, this year to really see how he's been playing. I haven't seen a lot of Donovan Mitchell playing with the Cavs, and that just might be me. But I watch a lot of Hawks games. I watch a lot of Celtics games, and I've seen how they play. And just I don't know. The number wise, I know Trae Young's like one of the top leaders in assists, and like Jaylen Brown is a really good rebounding type of guard. So that's why I went with it. Donovan Mitchell really kind of just has the points. He's averaging like 4 and 4. Elsewhere, at least with like Trae Young, he's averaging 10 assists. Jaylen Brown's averaging almost 8 rebounds. So it's kind of where I differentiated it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with any combination of them. So Lennon says he put Mitchell, Young, Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid. Which I think the forwards, I would probably lean with those 3 as well. But like Jordan said,
it sucks putting Durant off.
Durant's going to definitely make that race interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to lead Durant out of the starting lineup, but he might be a starter.
I think those would have to be my next 3 would be Embiid, Antetokounmpo, and Tatum. As much as I would like to see Durant in it, it's just his numbers. Even if Siakam was averaging just slightly more points, I'm not going to lie, I'd put Siakam in over like, I don't know. If Siakam had like 30 points, he'd be averaging 37 and 8. That's more than Tatum.
True.
So Siakam definitely has a good case to be definitely a reserve for sure.
All right, Jordan, this one's for you. Lennon says, I'd also say Westbrook may deserve a low reserve spot in the West with what he's doing off the bench for the Lakers.
That's a good point. I mean, I feel like he doesn't deserve a starting spot, but definitely like one of the reserves, if, have him in the games and make some dunks. Why not?
Well, I'm trying to think.
Even AD, I mean, if he gets back.
They go 12 deep, right? Or do they do 15?
I think they do 15 or 12. I'm not sure.
No, it's 10. It's 10. They have 5. It's 15 on each team, so it's 30 together.
Okay.
It's 5 starters and 10 reserves.
Okay, so looking at that, you're probably looking at maybe 4 reserve guards, probably might be more. In terms of a big man, they'd probably get maybe 1 reserve spot for a big man.
I would probably say it would be 4 for the guards, and probably between the forwards and the centers, probably they'd get 6, 2 each. Or at least they would try for something like that.
So that means, let's say, looking at reserves, if Westbrook could get in, and they're going to take 4 guards, I think we're unanimous. SGA gets one of the spots.
Yes.
Do you think AD does? Because he does 27.4 points.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
We're looking at the guards.
I just want to see for the West. I just thought about that.
Yeah, I just want to see if there's a way Westbrook gets a reserve spot to see, trying to.
I don't know because
guess here because SGA gets one.
You got Damian Lillard. You got Booker, you got Ja, you got Edwards, you got Fox, you got Bane, you got Simmons, Green, Clarkson.
How Westbrook gets in there?
Yeah. Even like Kevin Porter Jr., I'm not giving Westbrook that spot over KPJ.
Kevin Porter, has he been hurt?
He just went off on those Bulls last night.
That's the Bulls. He better go off. But they got DeRozan, though. So, they got.
But I think but the thing with Houston is, like, Houston's exciting to watch. They may not win a lot of games, and I think because of that, a lot of fans may be drawn to, Porter Jr. or something.
Yeah, I mean, they got 2 guards averaging roughly 20 points a game with Green and Porter, so they definitely got something cooking up there.
Yeah. All right, so we're saying six forwards / centers in the West. So Jordan's saying, what about AD? All right, so let's look at the list here. We got, you say Paul George gets in?
I would say Paul George gets in.
Do you think Markkanen gets in?
Depends on the Jazz record. If the Trailblazers still have a better record than the Jazz, I would say Jeremy Grant will probably get it over him.
Okay, so let's throw Grant in there. How about Brandon Ingram?
I would put Sabonis in over him.
Okay. Sabonis.
He's averaging 18 points and 12.4 rebounds a game, so that's some good enough numbers for me.
You kind of have to reward that.
He's averaging more rebounds than like Rudy Gobert. I gotta see his numbers. Where are you at, Christian?
I mean, there has to be a spot for AD.
Chris Wood is like 17 and 8.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be a spot for AD because LeBron he's averaging 27.8 points, 6.6. Davis right behind him, 27.4 points. This is what the NBA site says, and 12 rebounds. So he has to have a spot somewhere. Like
I think if Davis comes back and plays. Though. I don't. I think if Davis at least comes back and plays 2-3 weeks, I think if he plays 2-3 weeks before the All-Star break, or at least plays a month, like if he comes back first week of January, I don't think it matters. Second week of January, I don't think it matters at all. I think he'll get in. I think Davis does deserve it.
Kawhi's on the list too. Do you think he deserves a spot?
His numbers aren't really that great though, are they?
Yeah, I skipped over Kawhi. I was just 16, 6 and 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see him. If I had to choose 6, it would probably be Davis, Paul George. I'd probably put Jeremy Grant in there, Sabonis. I put Markkanen in there because it doesn't seem like anyone lower down is probably good. And then I would think about Brandon Ingram. He's doing pretty good. And then I guess maybe Ayton. Ayton's having almost averaging a double-double. And then if Ayton wouldn't get in, I guess you could consider Andrew Wiggins again, but.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like Dylan said, it'll depend on the timetable because they said AD's gonna get reevaluated early January. So if they reevaluate him and he's back like the following week, he's fine. But if they reevaluate him and it's like another 3 weeks or something, then I think it gets a little tricky because, like Dylan said as well, if AD can come back, give us a couple of weeks of play, he's a lock for a reserve spot. All right, so East. Let's go through quickly. Reserves for the East. So guards.
I would have to add Mitchell in as one of mine since I didn't have him as a starter.
Yeah, Trey would have to be one of mine because I didn't have him as a starter.
I would have Mitchell.
Would you have Kyrie?
I was thinking of Kyrie too.
I think I could have Kyrie as a reserve. I don't think I would hate having Kyrie as a reserve. Also, I do like Tyrese Maxey a lot as a reserve. I think he's someone that intrigues me a lot. Same with DeMar. I think DeMar, even though the Bulls are getting a lot of flack, he's still averaging 26, 5, and 5. So that's some pretty good numbers for me.
I'd put Halliburton in. I really like Halliburton's game.
I would put Halliburton in too. I mean, he's averaging 10 assists. I mean, that's second. I could put Halliburton in over James Harden, though, sadly.
You said you could or you couldn't?
I couldn't. Harden's averaging everything more than him. But if we're having 4 spots, and if I look at 4, Mitchell's definitely getting one. I would say Kyrie is definitely getting one. DeMar is probably definitely getting one, and then it's between Maxey, Harden, and Halliburton for that last spot.
That's gonna be a tough one.
And I think when you have a big name like James Harden, they always give it to Harden.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'd love to see Halliburton.
We still got so much time. Halliburton could up his numbers to averaging 25,
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Forwards. This could be interesting. So we all had Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum. So now Durant obviously gets one.
Yeah, Durant. I would have Durant and Siakam.
Durant might make the starting 5, man.
Maybe. I'm just saying, based off of ours where Durant didn't get in, we'd say Durant's a lock as a reserve. Yeah.
Yeah, if you think at the top, yeah.
I would have Durant.
Would you have Paulo in?
Paulo Banchero?
Yeah.
Well, would he play in the rookie All-Star game, or does it matter?
He can do the regular game too.
He can play in both.
Yeah.
They're 13 and 21. I mean, if we have 6, I'm giving it to Durant, Siakam, and Julius Randle. Those are 3 that are going to get it. I think those 3 would deserve reserve spots. If Tatum, Antetokounmpo, and Embiid were the first 3, I think Durant, Siakam, Randle should be in that order. They all have decent records. Knicks went on their run. Durant's been playing great, and the Raptors have been playing well, especially Siakam's been playing well as well too.
Well, you also been basing things on numbers instead of impact. Numbers only tell a piece of the pie.
That's very true.
That's fair. We are basing them off numbers and stats, but
well, that was my main reason why I picked Jaylen Brown over someone like Donovan Mitchell, is because I think Jaylen Brown has more of an impact based off his numbers. Because numbers-wise, Mitchell's better.
Mm-hmm. I was going to pick AD for starting 5 because the impact.
No.
If you want to talk impact.
But also, when it comes to that, also when it comes down to the All-Star voting, they care about records. They care about records and where you're standing as well. So the numbers do matter in a sense as much as the records do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm usually one.
That's why I struggle with Banchero.
Yeah. Well, I just said Banchero because
he has the numbers.
Young guy, doing really well. Used as a place to showcase him, because I'm sure a lot of fans probably aren't tuning into or Orlando Magic games, often, unless they're playing your team. So, nice little way to market him. Throw him a little bone.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, just looking at impact, Durant would get one. Siakam, yes. Randall, yes, especially if the Knicks continue their good run of play. So that's 3 guys. The forward list isn't.
I would consider Jared Allen. He's having some good defensive numbers. He has a good defensive. He's just a defensive beast as a center. He's averaged some decent numbers. I always got to think of like other bigs to put in there, because they usually like trying to put another big or 2 in there for each team, like a centerpiece. So I'm just trying to look at.
Yeah, between Jared Allen and Mobley, one of them has to get in.
NBA TV. Yeah. But yeah, definitely like what we're talking about. Like, I was saying, definitely what we're talking about, it definitely can change, and from other than like the Jokic and LeBron, as far as like records and stats, it can change.
Man, you could convince me about Miles Turner. He's averaging 16 and 8 with 2 blocks a game. I feel like.
I agree. Comment. East is going to be tough to fill 15 spots.
Yeah, there is a lot. When I'm looking at that forwards list, I can make 3 that I think are good, and then after that, it's just like.
Yeah, you could.
Because it's like.
Any number.
Because you look at like Kyle Kuzma, you got Paolo Banchero, you got Adebayo. Like I said, you have centers like Miles Turner, you have Jared Allen, like great defensive players.
You think Bol is the All-Star bid? No. Bol from the Magic?
No.
Maybe
if I'm taking something from the Magic, I'm taking one guy. I'd take Banchero. I get it. Bol is the media sensation, but nah.
Also, a good sleeper I have, OG Anunoby. He could be someone. He's having
Toronto will definitely get represented, because Toronto is one of those teams that they may not have the flashiest style of play, they may not have the biggest names, they just find ways to make it happen. I can't stand Nick Nurse as a coach, but I gotta give him a lot of credit. He always has Toronto in it.
And I guess my last 2 to touch upon. What do we think about Jimmy Butler or Kristaps Porzingis?
I was looking at Jimmy Butler, and I was about to bring him up, because the Heat this year, it's not like a normal Heat year. But for Jimmy Butler, you just know that Butler's waiting until like the second half. He'll start to turn it on, because that's what he does all the time, which is one of the more frustrating things about him.
Yeah, I was thinking about Jimmy Butler too.
The Heat will end up in the top 6, and we'll be like, here we go, the Heat doing their thing again.
Yeah,
I was thinking about Butler too, like putting him up there in the reserve spot.
It's crazy seeing that picture with him with the dreads.
I forgot all about that.
I still laugh at it. Let's see. Great point. Butler and the Unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those guys are definitely having great numbers for their teams as well. It's just they're both on just like struggling teams. I feel like we both. I wouldn't say so much we expected a lot more out of the Wizards, but again, Evan Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis there. You got Corey Kispert, Denny Abiha, Rui Hachimura. You've gotten some young pieces there. You got some first-round picks there, and just it doesn't seem like a lot of them have worked out. I mean, I think Kispert's been decent. So it all depends.
Yeah. For sure.
Right. So let's go NFL.
All right.
Spent a lot of time with the NBA.
I only got here. Whew. I said, I finally got to the NFL, man. Woo.
I mean, NBA was just fun. Let's see, comment, tough call, Phelps. Yes, I'm be interested to see who starters. I think we're kind of unanimous on, but the reserve list, I think, it would be a big debate once those come out. And of course,
there's always someone that gets snubbed. It's Devin Booker's probably going to miss the list again.
Yeah,
he always somehow gets snubbed.
Always got to tune into Barkley and them because they'll roast the list and always laugh at that. But NFL coming down to final weeks of the season.
Yep.
I think this past week a few teams were eliminated, but there's still like over 20 teams that kind of had a chance at a playoff spot. So, looking at week 16, once again, thumbs up, thumbs down, because we don't really feel the need to go through every game and talk about them. Let's see, where do we start? All right, so thumbs up, thumbs down. I think I've asked this like every week. Bengals win the AFC North. I know where you're going, Jordan, but...
Yeah, we asked last week. I still feel pretty confident in it. I think the Bengals should just the Ravens should just get ready to play whoever the AFC South win is going to be.
Yeah. Okay. That was a quick one. I mean, Jordan, you want to go ahead and do your plea for the Ravens?
y'all really gonna think that the Bengals have? I mean, do you think they'll start their starters against the Bengals or against the Bills, or do you think it's best for them to start the rest their main players?
They still have a chance at the number one seed.
Yeah. Like what we were talking about earlier, Jordan. Like how I said what the Ravens should do is like the Ravens are like we said, Lamar Jackson's probably healthy. They're not playing him because they're not going to probably like be able to compete for that first seed. Is probably what it is. If the Bengals win that division and lock up that 3 seed, and you guys have 5. That's why I say prepared to win that AFC. Prepared to play the AFC South winner.
I just don't think the way Josh Allen is playing too, and Burrows is playing good too. I think that's a tricky game.
I think the Bengals win. I think the the Bills still lock up that first seed. I think the Bills lock up that first seed, or the Chiefs do. I don't think Cincinnati will do it.
Bills don't want the Bengals to get that one. So they want that bye. So
the difference is, I have more faith in the Bengals beating the Bills.
Who's going to guard? Who's going to guard Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis? Eli Apple?
Their defense hasn't been bad this year.
Yeah, their defense isn't as bad as like people may think.
And then they're going to go through the Ravens. I mean, so
okay.
Oh yeah.
So, and we beat them already. So
I'm sorry if we have to go. They have to go through the Ravens. If they have to go through the Ravens, everyone was counting off the Bengals after that.
But it's still like it can be a difference maker. Say if the Bills or Bengals lose, they were tied still first, and we still hold that tiebreaker. So
that's true.
But
all boiled down to that last week.
I would still go Bengals over.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I think that it's going to be their. I mean, I think it's their first matchup together, Bengals or Barrels and Allen. So, especially in that weather, it's going to be. I think it's in Buffalo. So,
I mean, Cincinnati gets bad weather. It's not going to
Joey B lived in Ohio. Joey B lived in Ohio. He's like whole life.
Yeah.
He's used to it.
Yeah. I just think that it's going to be hard to beat the Bills where the Bills are playing right now. And Bengals are playing good too, but
see, I think the Bills are a good team. I think the Bills are a good team, but I think the Bills are good when they can get it all right. I think that's when it is. I feel like the Bills have seen cracks. They've shown us struggles. They've showed us that they're not like this dominant team and that they can lose. And it's just like when things aren't connecting to them and they're just having an off day, that's when you can get to them because they just struggle and they don't seem to get on the right page.
I wonder what's the money line for that game, the Bills, and check that money line.
If I were to guess, it's probably a smaller spread. It's in Buffalo, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if
Buffalo's like a 1 point favorite. Buffalo.
Okay. I would say point and a half would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, we'll get to the picks here in a little bit, but once again for the review, thumbs up, thumbs down. Jaguars win the AFC South.
Oh, we all agree on that.
Yeah, yes. I have to. The Titans just lost to
but
the
then
Texans.
again, like you're talking about how the Ravens would rather play the Titans than the Jaguars, but
I said the Ravens would rather have the Titans. I don't think the Ravens want to see the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Because if the Jaguars get in, that means that they're probably playing their best football.
To be honest, I'm gonna go on a limb. I don't think. I mean, in playoff, man, I don't think the Jags want to see the Ravens, man. I mean,
I think the Jags will go into that with a cocky mentality.
Doug
Peterson.
It won't be
Doug Peterson as a playoff coach is dangerous because he'll try basically anything.
Yeah.
And if the Ravens aren't prepared, he's going to pull some random trick play out because we've seen it with him. And if the Ravens, over pursuit or something, they get caught, who knows? And basically for the rest of the season, there's going to be questions about the Ravens offense in terms of how many points can they put up.
Imagine if when Lamar comes back and how Dobbins is doing, Dobbins and Gus Edwards, like that's just a triple punch.
It's a good running game, but if someone can stop your running game.
Isn't this great that we have legitimate debates regarding the NBA and the NFL? Who really knows what's great for conversation? Yeah.
And that's great conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was going on. That made me forget.
I mean, I'm assuming because throughout the running game, it's one of those where if the Ravens find themselves in a shootout, can they hold up? Because I've always said the Ravens are a team that's built for the lead. And in the playoffs, especially if you get down, we'll see teams panic a lot because of the magnitude of the game. And if the Ravens find themselves down a touchdown, 10 points, what do? Do they still try to grind out a drive that's like 10, 12 plays, running the ball, using 8, 9 minutes of the clock where they're kind of, shooting themselves in the foot because we've seen them have long drives that just end in field goals. So that's where I think the issue would come. And that's why if they play Tennessee, because Tennessee's kind of built the same way, the Ravens have a better chance there. Jacksonville has quick strike ability. Now, your only worry would be Lawrence's first experience in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fun.
What does that look like? But
yeah, I mentioned this to you early, Jordan. I was talking. I was like, no matter what, the Ravens would probably, no matter what, any team would want to have this AFC South winner. Yeah. But you'd rather have the Jaguars less than you would like to have the Titans.
I agree. But Kyle was bringing up a good point of how Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs, how he is. I mean, I don't think the time. I could be wrong. We didn't have Roquan Smith when we played the Jaguars. That's a different animal. He's been going off for us. He's a proven leader on the defense.
He can only do so much as a linebacker.
He can, but he can get to the quarterback.
Lawrence can be mobile. Lawrence has.
Who's covering Christian Kirk?
I mean that is it's kind of a joke, but Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. Yeah. Lately, they've been a pretty good duo.
That's what me and Jordan were talking about. I said with the Titans, your only game plan is stop Derrick Henry, and if you can do that, that's game. But with the Jaguars, it's like
Malik Willis at quarterback.
Yeah,
come on.
It was like, okay, try to stop. Now you got to try to stop Travis Etienne. You know, you got to try to stop Christian Kirk. You got some receivers. You got Evan Ingram on that team too. So it's like, you know, this team can air out the ball. They got some speedsters. Like I don't think people remember. Evan Ingram's one of the faster tight ends in the league.
Who had that home game? I mean, I guess it depends on like who had that home for the
Jaguars would.
The Jaguars would. Yep, they won the division, so they'd have home. Yeah, if you win your division, you'll probably play like the Chargers.
Yeah, which I don't know if you'd want that.
Yeah, like I said, if I were the Ravens, I would be chilling at a 5th seed. I'd be chilling at a 5th seed. That will definitely chilling at a 5th seed will probably get you out of the playoffs easier than having to go up against like Miami again or the Chargers again. Not again, but the Chargers.
Says, enjoying the show. Love the respect y'all show for each other. At the end of the day, you're really not going to change anyone's opinion, but you can give food for thought. Yeah. Comment, appreciate that. I mean, that's what we do. You know, we might joke on each other, but yeah, we appreciate the different points of view.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what would be the point if the three of us had the same point of view every topic?
Yeah, we debate, we argue about sports, and then we go play Call of Duty after. So it's just fine.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I definitely agree that we're at a point where it's like, I mean, well, actually, we play either team. Both quarterbacks don't have any playoff experience whatsoever. Malik Willis, so it's going to be an advantage.
Chargers team,
but yeah,
it's going to be dangerous.
I heard my Chargers Oh, really? I heard he's out for the year.
I heard that he got some surgery. I'm not sure if that was true, but it looked like a pretty good report that said he got some surgery and is hoping to be back by the playoffs if they can make it.
Shots in his ankle or something like that. Oh no!
Wait, who did?
He said Tannehill, but I thought he was out for the year with that ankle.
Oh yeah, because I remember when it first came out, Tannehill was out for the season, and then they said something about he might.
Yeah, he had tightrope ankle surgery, doing what he can to play Week 18 versus Jacksonville.
Because Tannehill understands Malik Willis can't do a thing under center.
Yeah, that's true. But what if he gets hurt again? That's the rest of the fan. So
it's for
it is what it is. It is what it is.
You do what you can in the playoffs.
Even Tannehill,
you throw Willis.
We'll get to Tannehill. I mean, he's hurt. Wildlands, so we'll get to him, and then Malik Willis will come in the game and lay an egg for them. So
hey, but to be completely honest with you, if Tannehill can get 3 quarters in, and they're game planning for Tannehill, and Willis comes in and starts just running the ball, they're not game planning for that. It could definitely change something if Tannehill keeps it close.
Yeah, and I'll never count out a Mike Vrabel team because they may not be talented, but they are going to try.
Yeah. Wait, so if the Jaguars clinch their division, that means you play the Jaguars?
If you guys don't win your division, yes, probably.
And you do have to still think about the Chargers maybe passing because the Chargers are only a game behind you, I think. Yeah. Chargers are 9-6. Yeah. Ravens are 10-5. So.
And then the Ravens, that happens.
If the Ravens fool around, lose the last 2 games,
you're probably gonna play the Bengals again.
You might get the Bengals again.
Bengals again, or the Chiefs again. You might get the Bengals or the Chiefs,
or the Bills,
So that, I'm saying, you want to stay at 5. You want to do whatever you can to stay at 5. All these teams that can't clinch their divisions, they're salivating at 5.
Yep,
that's true. That's true.
I mean, Chargers Jaguars would be interesting. Herbert versus Lawrence. Yeah, they're the 2 guys that kind of get compared the most right now. So, Conman's got a question. Do you think that Lamar betting on himself this year helped or hurt his chances of getting the bag here? That's a really good question.
That's very interesting now, especially since he got injured. And he's been out. If he didn't get injured, yeah. I think it did work, but now he's injured and he's been out for a couple of games. So it's I feel like he might Lamar might want to re-sign with the Ravens, on a decent deal. He might go back to some talks with him and be like, so let's scroll through some of those offers you gave me. Let's see.
But
what's on that table.
Yeah, I know he got hurt, but like I said, talked to Dylan off camera, the Ravens have been really quiet on their end of when Harbaugh's in the press conference. Oh, is Lamar going to play? He's like, oh, we'll see. So they kind of been quiet on that end, and I think that Lamar is actually healthy, and they're just waiting to see, hey, if we should play him, like maybe not playing the whole game, maybe on some certain like snaps to get him adjusted. But I feel like Lamar. I mean, I don't think Lamar is, because they said 1 to 3 weeks. It's a sprain, so it's been more than 3 weeks.
Yeah, they said Christmas Eve when he was supposed to be back, but now we're a week past that.
So I think they're just like I think I told Dylan, like they're like maybe on like low management maybe with him, maybe saying like, hey, maybe we should.
That's what I said. I said, like, hey, if the team can keep winning and they don't have to use Lamar Jackson as much, and they can get him ready and prepared for the playoffs, so like you can have energized Lamar.
For that division, they would. But I think for the division, they should play Lamar. If they want to get that division.
Agreed. I agree, but I disagree because that 5 spot's good.
I say snap counts against the Steelers too to get him warmed up and stuff since it's at home. It's a home game. Get him some reps in.
I agree.
Not just the whole game, but definitely. I don't know if I'm the Ravens. I'm in a tough predicament. Like, I mean, we have a clinched berth playoff spot. Now it's that division. It's about that division. So, I mean, if I'm Lamar, if I'm the Ravens, should I play Lamar on selective snaps or whatever?
I would. So I think that's fair. I feel like going into a game that's going to be as big as that Bengals game is, like playing him for the first half probably wouldn't be bad. Playing him 2-3 quarters, maybe even playing him 3 quarters. And if the score is good enough, just pull him for the fourth and have Huntley finish it, or have Huntley come in at half. If you're up by like 10, 20, 15, I wouldn't say 10, but if you're up by like 20 points, have Huntley come in, see how he does. And if he struggles, throw Lamar back in. But I think getting him some game snaps, getting him some game speed will be very important, especially if you're going to play him in that Bengals game, because you don't want his first game back probably being one of the most important games of your season, of your regular season. So I definitely think if you don't want him to be too injured, you don't want to worry about re-injuring him, worried about the risk of that. I think definitely putting him on a snap count smart, just seeing how he's doing, how he's running, how he's throwing. Mm-hmm. Just definitely get him in there, though.
So my thought on Lamar has been, I feel like him getting injured this year, it could, I guess, give the Ravens a talking point of the last couple of years he's gotten hurt at the end of the year. However severe, fine. I've always said the Ravens are going to look at this and they're going to have to kind of go pros and cons with it because of Lamar's play style. And in terms of how the rest of the AFC is, does Lamar and this style of offense, can they win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years? If the Ravens think they can, then I don't think Lamar's done anything to his value. If the Ravens have questions about it, I kind of said this on the cheap seats last night, where I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens say, franchise tag next season, sign Roquan Smith, and just to see if Lamar can get through a healthy season. If we have the same situation next season, wouldn't be surprised if they franchise tagged him again.
I think they could do it twice, right?
Right. And then after that, now you have to have a serious conversation because you can't fall back on franchise tags anymore. And Lamar's going to be looking at it like, so I've been playing for my life for 2 years now. Where are we? And yeah, kind of like Con Man talking about from management's point of view, that's going to be the toughest part because we can all see, Lamar's talent, but Baltimore can't throw money down a well at Lamar. And if he's going to get hurt consistently at the end of each season, then it's going to look like wasted money because I'm sure they would love to use that money to, maybe bring in a top flight wide receiver or, bring in whatever, some other defensive lineman or something like that. But if you give Lamar too much money and he's eating up too much of your cap, then you're handcuffing yourself at other positions. And then let's say next year you lose a key piece here and there, and now it really looks like Lamar just by himself, struggling to win the North, struggling to win playoff games. Then it's like 5 years down the line, we've been
150, 200 million.
Playoffs. We've seen like Josh Allen win a Super Bowl. We've seen Patrick Mahomes win another one. We've seen Jalen Hurts win one. And
Geno Smith got one.
Yeah, hey. And we're just kind of stuck in limbo with this great talent, but a play style that maybe doesn't fit today's NFL. So for John Harbaugh, and that side of it, it's going to be interesting. Almost like Dylan said, I wouldn't be surprised if they came back with the offer that they had at the end of the offseason when Lamar said no. I wonder, would Lamar take that now? I don't know. We'll have to see. I do think if Lamar thinks he's going to get top dollar and set the market again, I think from Baltimore's point of view, they're not going that far.
Yeah, I don't think Lamar should think he's able to get that as well. Because don't get me wrong, he has an MVP. That's cool. Patrick Mahomes has one of those. He also has a Super Bowl. He deserved that money. He's playing like one of the best quarterbacks to play. He's breaking all these records in just minimal amounts of
Joe
years.
Flacco, but that's it, Michael. After the Super Bowl run, but
because I think the Ravens. I mean, as much as Ravens may not want to hear this, I feel like they look at the Patriots model and they love how the fact like Belichick doesn't really overspend at certain positions.
Yeah, they try to draft well. They try to build up their talent.
Yeah,
Ravens are a small market team.
In terms of the NFL,
yeah.
Because your large market,
you got the Chargers, you got your Vegas.
Yeah, Baltimore is
even places like Seattle. Even places like Seattle would get more looked at over somewhere like Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, your large markets: Boston, New York, LA, Dallas.
And then in the NFL, players want to play with contenders and also really great players. So you got to think like Buffalo, Kansas City.
Wait, Ravens are contenders? They only miss a playoff.
But they want to play with great quarterbacks.
There's
like
people who win,
who's
being
proven.
A playoff team and a Super Bowl contender. Ravens are a playoff team, but I don't know how many free agents look at them as a Super Bowl contender right now.
And it also has to deal because you don't have any really star value on your team. That's like you have Roquan Smith and he is a star, but no one's looking like, man, I want to go play with Roquan Smith, man, or like anything like that, or any of your receivers, for example. It's like, Kansas City, they have Patrick Mahomes, they have that history there. Josh Allen, you can run with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. Like, it's a lot. Even with like Seattle, it's like, oh, I can run with like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett if he's healthy. Las Vegas, I get to live in LA. I get to live in Vegas, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr. So it's just the Ravens are tricky because like they don't have any. Yeah, Derek Carr's probably gone, but the Ravens, they just don't have any like big stars to like attract them there. Like what's attractive about Baltimore?
I'd rather play in Baltimore than Las Vegas.
No, why?
Why not?
Warm. You're playing a dome.
Obviously, we're in the playoffs and they're not this year.
Okay, cool. If Vegas can give me the same amount of money and I get to run with better receivers, so I have more of a chance to get open,
and
I'll take that. And I get to play in a dome and warm weather. Cool.
And and Josh Daniels has to go, man. No one wants to play with Josh Daniels.
That's okay. They'll hire a new coach. That's fine. I'm still getting paid.
If I'm an offensive player, I wouldn't mind playing with Josh McDaniels because he's an offensive mind that's creative.
Yeah, I don't think he's for a head coaching job.
If I'm an offensive guy and I go to Baltimore, Harbaugh's a defensive mind. So maybe as a defensive player, I would like playing, like Dylan said, Roquan Smith, John Harbaugh. I know what I'm getting. Offensively,
on the offensive end, and it's because how they run their offense.
Blocking more often.
Yeah, and it's how they run their offense. Like, you guys could get probably good running back and probably tight ends, probably some O-lines. You'll get those type of guys. But again, it's probably not going to be anything big because, like, for example, and I'm not saying that this is in the realm of possibility. If you look at George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, those guys might like to play with you guys, but also they want to play in like air raid systems.
Well, Darren Waller, I thought he played with us for a couple of years.
He probably did, but it was on like probably practice squad. He wasn't getting a lot
of
touches.
Before he had his whole
it's before he like recovered and all that stuff. Yeah. And that's just how the Ravens run their offense. It's nothing against Lamar, but it's also how Lamar is as a quarterback. Receivers are going to get like 4 or 5 passes thrown to him a game. because he's throwing the ball 20, 21 times, 23 times, and he's rushing it more. Receivers don't want to play with that. If they're having to share with 5, 6, 7 targets, like 20 throws, that's not going to be fun for anybody there.
Well, that's why I said because like Jordan, you always talk about you want like the deep threat speed guy. It's going to be tough getting them to Baltimore. And if I'm Baltimore, I probably wouldn't look at guys like that. Get me your big possession receivers who can block and don't mind doing that. Because at least that way, when Lamar's running a sweep or something, he knows he's not going to have a corner coming at his legs because he has a blocking wide receiver out there. And if it's like 3rd and 5 because they're going to run the ball a lot, we don't need to throw 60 yards down the field. Get me a guy who can get open 6, 7 yards. I hit him, and we keep the chains moving.
Right.
Get him some big route runner. Get him some bodies out there that can block, but also that can decently run like routes, like ends and stuff like that. Not where you're having to look for back then Marquise Brown to hopefully get 60 yards open and catch the ball.
Right.
To score a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's just how it is with Baltimore. And like Dylan said, there's nothing wrong with it because not everybody can run.
Because the Ravens have always been known for their defense in a running game, not really their.
Exactly.
I mean, other than Joe Flacco, he had a cannon, but I mean, our staple was like the defense, and this is like our first couple of years where we were in a way both like unique on both sides of the ball. So you're worth it about what the other side you're telling. Otherwise, they paid him yet. The market's
agreed. It would also make sense. But with that being said, like if you give him all that money and Lamar's injured again, it's like for what?
Mm-hmm.
If you get him all that money again and Lamar's out for 2 years, then what?
Yeah. But it's like also looking at the offense he runs. Oh well, no, you finish your point, Dylan. Sure.
Oh, I was just saying with that, it's like you have to take the risk because Lamar's you have to wait because taking a risk like that and giving him all that money, if he's gone for, a year, comes back, maybe plays close to a full season, then he's out with his 3rd year. It's like, we could have had him for like maybe 1 or 2 or franchise tagged him and maybe moved on or done something else with that money or with that cap to like rebuild if he's not going to be healthy or maybe it's just not the system.
Also with Michael's point, the reason why they're waiting too is because I think my cousin was telling me that like the new TV deal that's going to be happening soon with the NFL, that market's going to change a lot of players.
The cap's probably going to trade. The cap's probably going to change.
So they're probably waiting on that. So
but Baltimore's got the way that extra money. Do we dump it in a quarterback, or do we spread it out among the roster and improve here, there instead of just all on Lamar? Yeah. I think Baltimore's number one concern is if something were to happen to Lamar, he loses a step in his athleticism. What kind of quarterback is he going forward? If he's stuck more in the pocket, what does he look like? And I think
that's not a horrible passer. It's just we don't see him do it a lot.
Right. So I think Baltimore's got to worry. Like, so if that's what he turns into, can we change the ship midstream and build the team differently? And what does that look like? Because it's one thing to say what he's been now, his MVP a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's easy to build for. We've done that. We've shown we could do that. But going forward, can we depend on that style for the next 5 years? Or does he turn into, I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but
I mean, what is it? I mean, I guess
maybe Mike Vick. Later in Mike Vick's career,
I guess not
run as much only because he wasn't
like not for like I guess maybe it's for the Lamar doubters or haters, but like what is it going to take for him to get a ring to shut people up? I mean, because Mahomes
how about just win playoff games?
Yeah, that's the biggest knock on the Ravens. It's like I don't think the Ravens are a bad team by any means. I think the Ravens are definitely on the top, or not the top echelon. But when you think of playoff teams, I always will think the Ravens are one of those type of teams. But with that being said, I think of the Ravens as a team that can't win playoff games. I think of them as an amazing regular season team. I think of them as a fun, crafty type of team. But when it comes down to like the nitty gritty and actually trying to play.
Y'all think this year's defensive team on the top can wreak havoc in the league in the playoffs? Defense?
Nope.
Oh wow.
Your secondary has so many question marks this year. Like, they're good.
You can throw on the Ravens secondary. You just can't. And in this league,
I guess
where
it's
you
got
have so many
I guess it's got the proof y'all. We're in the playoffs.
Kansas City.
Oh man,
they're gonna eat you for lunch if
Tua's right. Miami's pass offense will give Baltimore trouble.
Y'all mentioned the Bills. We were up like 20 against the Bills. I don't think they came back.
How'd that game go?
I mean,
you're also how much were you up against Miami?
Exactly.
Yeah, but
and that was back when the Ravens were putting up points. They're not even putting up points like that now.
Lamar had a good game.
Now they're putting up 13, 16.
I mean, that game wasn't really on all Lamar.
On a good day.
I mean, we lost to Miami. That wasn't. I was there. Like, he had a good game. It's just like our second, like you said, a secondary. You know, we kind of got lackadaisical in the second half.
That was early in the season. The Ravens were scoring. They haven't
put
missing
the Bills.
Like
that means we can put up. We can put up numbers against the Bills. We just gotta solidify a lead and stick with it.
Oh, I feel like you could put up numbers on the Bills. I feel like the Bills are one of those teams that like shootouts. That I feel like that's what that feeds Josh Allen, is just like adrenaline and shootouts. Same with like Patrick Mahomes, like those close type of shootout of games. You have Joe Burrow as well too. He's a good one. But
Ravens don't want that. Ravens want ugly playoff football, and I love watching ugly playoff football, but you're only going to get that against Tennessee. Yeah, probably only Tennessee.
Yeah, it's just Jacksonville
would love a shootout too.
Yeah, because I look at the Ravens and I'm like, what's your guys' identity for the playoffs? You don't change anything. It seems like you don't change any offensive game plan or defensive game planning, and it's just like teams go in there facing the Ravens expecting like this giant or this beast. But with that being said, they do the same things. It's like, okay, stop the run. We stopped the run. We won the game.
Yeah. That's when Conman says, I believe y'all have one of the best shows on the network. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
For real, totally enjoying the show. Keep doing what y'all are doing. Conman, appreciate it
so much.
Appreciate the praise.
You want to get to the picks next week?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. I mean, it's going to be interesting on the show once the playoffs come around.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Jordan, you'll probably either love me or you'll hate me if the Ravens lose. Because I'll point out some stuff that I've been trying to tell you.
I got the bracket right last year. I think I missed like a random game. I think the Packers game screwed me over, but I did have Bengals Rams in the Super Bowl. I did have the Bengals winning though, which upset me.
I don't think I had the Rams making it. I probably didn't have the Bengals making it.
I meant last year when like the playoffs actually came out, like the actual bracket. Like we saw the end of the season.
I don't think I had the Bengals making that run they did. I was kind of glad they did.
Part of me has a side conspiracy that the NFL is scripted and rigged, and I was like, Matthew Stafford was just traded here. Joe Burrow's going crazy. It makes sense for those two to match up, mess with people, and it happened.
I guess. I mean, the NFL sure fell out of love with the Rams real quick because they look like trash this season.
Baker, though. Let's not discredit them.
I hope Baker. I will root for Baker. I know a lot of people don't like him. There's something about him. I just like something about him. Maybe it's the stupid commercials he does.
Like
his cocky nature in college.
Yep.
I've always been a fan.
I remember texting the group chat because like I've been sick lately, and I woke up and saw the score of the game, and I was like, "How the hell the Rams score 51?"
Yeah, nobody saw that coming. Oh, yeah. Although. Thankfully, it happened because Hackett finally got fired.
Oh, yes. Thankfully.
Oh, my God. I want to see who they hire there.
I saw someone joking around and like saying like Hackett's like, what am I supposed to do? Man, my quarterback has as many bathrooms as he does touchdowns.
I saw that. I was like...
that was hilarious.
Conman, I've been saying this for weeks as well. Watch out for the 49ers.
I'm a Seattle fan. I'm a Seattle fan, so I have to keep fairly close eye onto the 49ers. And I've been saying, like, it sucks. It sucks having them in our division because I just knew we weren't going to win the division in that case. Like, that 49ers team is good. Their defense is Like definitely one of the best in the league this year, if not the best.
The only thing that to watch out for is Shanahan's playoff record isn't that great.
How is Purdy gonna do in the playoffs?
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be a major.
They're like the. Niners. Like I feel like they have better weapons like Deebo Samuel, but they're kind of like us. I mean, their defense is better than their offense. So
they're kind of, but they're the.
But in a way, they had better weapons like McCaffrey, and now Deebo and. But I'm just saying, as far as it's comparable teams, like when it comes to playoffs, I mean, Purdy, we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, or whatever. But like as far as talent on the defensive side and like how the organization is run, their defense is better than their offense with
Oh yeah.
With both.
I'd agree with that.
So
at least play wise,
yeah.
Philosophy wise, similar. The Ravens, the Niners are just a better version of the Ravens, and you can look at it, maybe Shanahan as an offensive guy, you would take him over Roman, but I also wouldn't, kill Roman for what he's done with Baltimore.
Yeah, he's done great with that offense.
He's maximized kind of what he's had there in his years.
Yeah, no one expected Gus Edwards to be kind of a household name like he is. You've even some of those Ravens receivers who haven't even been good, like Prochet has kind of popped a little bit. That's coming more of a noticeable name. If they get Bateman back and Bateman can be healthier and play, I think I will say this personally. I thought Rashad Bateman was the best receiver in his class when he got drafted. I'm pretty sure I thought he was definitely my top. He's definitely one of my top. So if he can get healthy,
imagine if the Ravens had their healthy Bateman. I know Duvernay got hurt, but like Duvernay, Prochet, obviously they're not well-known top 5 receivers, but they're like under the radar.
Those are the Ravens receivers basically. Those are the guys to fit the scheme.
But imagine if we had the players, man, like on that side of the ball. Like
I agree.
I think Linderbaum got snubbed of a Pro Bowl. I think he's held that line. Even though
these rookie centers been crazy. You had last year with Creed Humphrey. He was arguably the best center in the league last year as a rookie. And then you have
I'm surprised Linderbaum didn't get picked, but for Pro Bowl.
Somebody could drop out and he could still get a spot.
But yeah. But now we're talking about the Titans. They're playing the Cowboys. The Cowboys can win that game.
They could, yes.
They play on.
The Titans are going to be playing desperate. The Titans are playing for their lives right now.
Right.
And a desperate team this time of the year can be a dangerous team. We start with the primetime game. So Thursday night, we'll go there. Come up on 2 hours, so we'll get to these picks real quick. Cowboys, Titans. Cowboys are a 10-point favorite over the Titans in Tennessee. Who you guys got?
I got the Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys.
I've got the Cowboys as well. I think the Titans' season's going to slowly slip away from them from here on out. So Sunday night, Steelers-Ravens. This game was flexed to Sunday night. Thank God.
Who was the team? Who were the two teams?
Chargers.
Yeah.
Terrible team.
I don't need to see the Rams. So
man,
Chargers,
to be fair,
I'd watch the Chargers.
I probably would have flexed like maybe Seattle and New York because both teams have playoff implications. To be fair, but I don't hate that game. I definitely would think Baltimore's game matters more than the Rams Chargers. But I don't know. After Baker played last week, I'm not sure if they should have changed it.
You could make the argument. Would you flex Vikings Packers in that spot?
Oh, I didn't even see Vikings Packers. Yes, you definitely flex Vikings Packers in that spot.
But I think that division.
Steelers Ravens, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
not mad at it at all.
So who y'all picking? Steelers?
Because I saw some Steelers fans are calling for Tomlin to get fired. Like, what are we talking about here? Man hasn't had a losing season since he's been there.
Now, I would say
7-8 right now, and all the stuff that's gone on in Pittsburgh this year.
I would say
there's no way Rooney fires him. So
I would say that statement about that would be true if they lost to the Raiders.
Even then,
they would have been out of the playoffs, right? They would have.
Even then, I wouldn't. I can't wipe out all Tomlin's done because of one down year.
I think that's garbage. I feel like it's like, and Bill Belichick's a bad example because he's won like a lot more Super Bowls, but it's like if Bill Belichick just had an off season and they were like, get out, like, no, like you won all these rings, you have all this tenure, you never had a losing season here, like, and he has his first potential losing season with a rookie quarterback in Mitch Trubisky, and he still almost went 500.
There's no way he's gone. And the way Rooney operates that team, Rooney doesn't really look like the type to fire coaches anyway. He kind of just plays it out with them. If they say, hey, I'm retiring, cool, we'll get another one. But yeah, Tomlin's not going anywhere. No. But you know, that with that out of the way, Steelers, Ravens, who are you going with?
I got the Ravens. Even if Lamar's not playing and Tyler Huntley plays the whole game, I'll still go the Ravens.
Yeah, it's a home game. The crowd's gonna be into it. M&T Bank's gonna be rocking. Pickett might.
There's going to be a different atmosphere. There's going to be a different atmosphere. I feel like this Ravens team was probably going to be a little more hungrier, you know, especially getting closer to that playoff time. There is worries that they're overlooking the Steelers maybe a little bit because they have the Bengals next week.
I don't think they're overlooking them. I think this is a key matchup that they definitely should.
Con Man is on my wavelength. I think the Steelers get it done. I think Tomlin, I think with Pickett playing, you know, TJ Watt, and as you guys have said, you know, Lamar might not play. And if you're Harbaugh on them, this game you could technically throw this one out the window because your season's basically next week against the Bengals.
So even if he loses,
I said that's actually wrong because if the Bengals were to beat the Bills and then you lose to the Steelers, then you're kind of locked in 5-6. But as we kind of said, you might want to be 5th seed anyway, so you can kind of play to that without making it obvious and just be like, we'll have a vanilla game plan. We lose.
I watched that Bills game on Sunday night and the hours of Monday night, and because I want to see that Bengals and Bills game so bad.
I was going along the lines of this too. Yeah. Tomlin had a real connection with Franco Harris, and I will say Tomlin's probably one of the better motivators in the NFL. You know, notwithstanding, you know, Antonio Brown at the end of his time there, where, you know, going on Facebook Live during a locker room speech. But, you know, I think Tomlin's going to have the Steelers ready to go. And I think they get the win. And I think the Steelers keep their slim playoff hopes alive. But
I just think that
it's going to be a great game for Sunday night.
No. I'm glad they did that.
I like watching Steelers Ravens because, you know, bad blood and all that. I love it.
If they didn't flex that, I probably would have been streaming it on a bootleg streaming site. So I'm glad that they flexed it to Sunday Night Football.
Like I said, if they had flexed Vikings Packers there, I wouldn't have been mad either.
Right.
Even though,
the hard nosed, you know, Steelers Ravens game, you know, it has to be Sunday night. And then who knows? I mean, Dad's really gave it time for the Bengals game next week. It still says TBA, so I'm pretty sure they're going to move that to.
They're waiting to see how these games go to set the schedule for next week because they're going to make sure
it's probably going to be primetime 8:20 game Sunday Night Football. There's
other matchups they could put.
Do you think they'll put that? What? I mean, because everyone wants to see Ravens Bengals. So I mean, what time do you think they would be? 4:25?
I think Eagles Giants probably would get it because the Giants are definitely a playoff team. Packers Lions could get it. I wouldn't put Dallas Washington over it. I'd be
given time for the Ravens Bengals game next week. TBA it says so to be announced.
Yeah, they're waiting to see which matches will actually matter, and then
I've
placed those at the right time.
I really would see everyone I talk to wants to see the Ravens Bengals. So
yeah, in Baltimore they
to be
honest.
No, I'm saying everywhere else, like they want to see that.
No, I'll just messing with you.
To be honest,
but there's potentially other matchups that could get that spot there.
Yeah, like, especially if New York's playing well. NFL,
even like an underrated one, if the Patriots still had a shot, Patriots Bills could get one of the spots because of that rivalry that they have. But yeah, Ravens Bengals will be in play. Lions Packers, because of the good story that the Lions have been, give them a shot at it. I wouldn't be mad at that. Jets Dolphins, but I think because of the Jets, that matchup doesn't really matter as much anymore. But there's a couple of ways that they could go with it for their primetime next week. But yeah, let's see. Oh, Monday Night Football. Bills Bengals. Game of the week. Who you guys got?
Going the Bengals.
Going Bills.
Going the Bengals. Bengals. It's at home.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. There's something different about Joe. Joe Burrow, one, he likes playing against those top quarterbacks, and then he likes making them their babies.
Love that about him.
I'm going Bills.
Said Josh Allen. Who? He said, who's that? He said, Patrick Mahomes. Who's she? Beat him 3 times.
Yeah. He walks up in cold weather cities rocking mink coats and all that. He's just a different dude.
Oh, my bad. I think every game says TBD, so.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're waiting. They're waiting for this schedule to play out before they think about how
all the games will be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, no Monday night game? All right,
so last week of the season's all on Sundays.
Yeah. Because
they
want to use Monday and all to hype up the playoffs.
I mean, obviously, I do Saints, Panthers, 1 o'clock. Steelers, Browns, maybe 4:25. This is a division game.
They know which games are going to be 1 o'clock already. You can look through that list and pick out your 1 o'clock schedule easily.
Or they're picking the 4:25 games.
I mean, 4:25, it's usually out west anyway, and then you can kind of maneuver from there. All right, so Conman's going Bills. More experience, okay.
So 2-on-2, baby.
Yeah.
2 Bills, 2 Bengals.
That's good. I mean, that's fair. It should be a 50-50 either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game.
Joe Burrow. All right, locks and upsets. Start with you, Jordan. Who's your lock? Who's your upset?
I got mine. Hopefully no one takes them.
My upset hit last week. Texans, told y'all.
You did.
I need to get me a 1-800 number. Start doing infomercials.
So I got Vikings upsetting
Kyle's corner. Your picks.
I'd cost people so much money.
So for
I went 9-7 against the spread last week on my channel. It's not bad.
Yeah. So for my upset, I'm doing the Vikings over the Packers.
Okay.
They're Green Bay 3.5 point favorite, so I'm picking the Vikings. 12-3 Vikings versus 7-8 Packers. Definitely going to get against the spread on that one. And then my lock would have to be. Chiefs Broncos.
Okay.
I would say Ravens, but they're 3-point favorites. So I mean, I want them to win. They did, so, but I'm taking a different.
I'm out on this one. Too tough. All right, Dylan, who you got?
So my lock of the week is actually the Packers over the Vikings. I think the Packers are going to get it done. I feel like I've been very open about. I've had like a hit or miss relationship with the Packers. Like I've picked them when I think I've been open saying like there's always something about the Packers. Like they're the team that's just going to scrape it together and make the playoffs. And it's like, oh, well, here's Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs again. And I've been off and on picking them. I've stopped picking them because they were playing bad. And then I was like, I'll keep picking them. And once they start winning, they get on that roll and they have a playoff chance. I'm going to keep picking them. So I'm going to. The Vikings have struggled a lot. Like they've let a lot of games get to them. You know, you saw that Colts game, that Giants game was close. Like they're having some teams play them closer than they probably should. And I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to let them come back in any situation like that. You know, if the Packers are up 14, I feel confident the Vikings could get up to 10, but they're not taking the win.
Okay. I can see that.
And then my upset, I have the Bears over the Lions.
Ooh, that's going to hurt. Could happen though.
And you just, I'm saying it because fantasy championship this week. I let $150 on the line. Need Fields to go crazy.
Okay. All right. So now it's my turn. Let's see. Start with my lock. I'm looking at. I'm gonna go Chargers over the Rams. I like what the Chargers are doing right now. They're getting their pieces back healthy. Unfortunately, I kind of think Staley may save his job only because, they could end up at 11 wins, end up as a playoff team. At that point, probably got to hope they get blown out in the playoff game, and then maybe Staley loses his job. But I feel like Staley may have saved himself.
I think so, because what I said about the Chargers, I was at the start of the season, I said they're probably going to go 11-6. They're not going to win the division. That's the Chiefs. They're going to get a wild card. And
yeah,
that's probably what they're looking like doing.
Right, and then with all the injuries they've had, I feel like Staley gets another year. Upset. Where do I go? I'm not going Colts over the Giants. I'd have to be crazy.
I almost picked that one because I need the Giants to lose for Seattle playoff hopes.
That's true, but that Colts organization is a dumpster fire right now. I'm going to stay away from the Seahawks game because I think even one week when you didn't pick them, I think I picked them and they still lost. I'm not trying to do that to you, Dylan, so I'll stay away from that game.
The crazy thing is if we lose this week, we're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a weird season.
But if we lose and the Commanders win, then we're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, the Commanders are the team that you're really looking out for.
Well, I was
that
doing
time may come back to
the other day. I was doing playoff scenarios the other day, and it's the worst case scenario is the Packers win out, because if the Packers win out and Seattle wins out, the Packers will get that spot over us. Mm-hmm. But even with us having a tiebreaker over Detroit, but like if the Giants lose out, for example, and Washington doesn't play well, maybe we could sneak in those spots.
Well, with the Commanders having that tie, the Seahawks are going to have more wins. Because they have the same amount of wins that Commanders tie works in their favor, which is kind of crazy. But
I hate ties. It messes everything up.
Yeah. I don't know for the upset. Panthers over Bucks. I mean, I could see that happening, but no. This is tough. I'm not going against my Patriots. I can't do it.
Don't blame.
I did last week against the Bengals. I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, I mean, the only one I can really see. Sorry, Dylan, but I have Seahawks over the Jets.
Fair enough.
I think
it's at home.
Yeah, I think that definitely helps them, and I think the Jets team, yeah, because Zach Wilson, he's still struggling. I just don't know if he's ever going to get it, and I think Pete Carroll's going to have that Seahawks team ready to go. I think they right the ship somewhat from the last couple of weeks. Con man, for some reason I feel that Bad Man's going to will the Packers to a playoff berth. That's kind of my nightmare.
Yeah.
Because if the Packers make the playoffs, the love fest for Aaron Rodgers is going to go up like 10 levels. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm still rooting for Lions or the Seahawks to keep my dream scenario. Final week, Packers-Lions game. Packers need to win to get in, and the Lions upset them.
That would be nice.
That's my dream scenario. Let's see. We're at the 2 hour and 15-minute mark. Real quick before we get out of here, because we're going to have college football playoff will happen Saturday. So when we're on again, we would already seen the first round matchups. Who do you guys have winning both games for the college football playoff?
I'm going to have Georgia. Maybe, I don't know. I think the winner of whoever wins Georgia, Ohio State's going to win the college football playoffs. I even think if Ohio State beats Georgia, they will go on and beat Michigan if they play them again. So I guess I can say that's just my consensus winner but overall I would probably take Georgia. Maybe I don't know. Part of me wants to take Ohio State in that upset because that just seems like be interesting. Georgia's been good, but like they've had a lot of close. They haven't had a lot of close games, but definitely like their offense is kind of a little. I don't know. The Big Ten games are always different, but I guess I'll probably take Georgia. They're the reigning champions, and then I love TCU. Love to see TCU upset Michigan and win it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Michigan will get it single-handedly done, and Michigan moves on.
All right. Jordan, who do you have winning those 2 games? Same thing, Georgia and Michigan?
Yeah, I kind of have Georgia and Michigan. Georgia's the top dog, undefeated. So they kind of have, everyone has their eyes on them. And I think Michigan is, whether they're playing Ohio State.
No, they're playing TCU.
They're playing TCU. Yeah, I got Michigan.
Okay. I kind of lean the same way. I mean, I really want to root for TCU.
I mean, I love an upset though. So
yeah.
I would like to see Georgia TCU and then just TCU upset them.
That would send college football like through a tailspin.
That would be the Big 12's biggest FU to the SEC.
Right.
It's like take Texas and Oklahoma. TCU's the king now.
Right.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Con Man's weighed in. He's got Georgia, Michigan. Georgia wins the title.
That's how I have it. But if Ohio State upsets, I think Ohio State will win. Because if Ohio State can go on and beat Georgia after their last game they played was that loss against Michigan, I feel like they probably flipped something. They flipped something on that they need to do, and I would take that. It's hard to bet Ohio State to lose against the same team twice.
Right. That's true. And I think if Georgia and Michigan face off in the title game, there's going to be large sections of the country that will root for Michigan for Harbaugh, but probably also anti-SEC. That's going to be like a bigger fan base because there's a lot of people who would love to see Georgia get upset by Ohio State. But
I don't like Michigan either. I don't really like.
I mean, I
like the weird schools in like the SEC and the Big Ten. Like go Minnesota. Let me see Minnesota do something. Let me see Maryland do something.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But
Terrapins.
I guess with that, we can go ahead with our final thoughts. You guys got anything before we get out of here?
Nope. UFC's still quiet until the 14th, so kind of just waiting.
This is our last episode before the New Year, so
yeah, back in 2023.
It's gonna be fun. It's been a pleasure, of y'all being on this show with me. You know what I'm saying, and creating this show from the ground up. So it's almost been a year since we all met, right?
Nah. We're still a bit far off.
Because I joined the network like probably late compared to you guys. Yeah,
I joined in like August.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, last episode before the New Year's, let's keep on, producing that good content for the people.
Yeah. New Year, definitely can see how much it grows.
Yeah, I know Key and Freddie have some major plans for us in 2023, so hopefully we'll. Oh man, that's a whole other conversation for a different day.
Great. I think it's great. It's the smartest move ever. Dion said it best himself. You can't in this game, in this type of thing.
I'm trying to eat my dinner, man.
I'll quickly comment. It's that type of thing. Like he said it best himself. In this type of this type of job, you either get promoted or you get demoted, and you have to move up. Like at that point, he did his thing at Jackson State. He created a legacy there. He's definitely done a lot of work there. He made a lot of big names. He made the school well known, and I don't think him staying there.
I think he meant HBCU.
Yeah, and I think him staying there would have done nothing for his career. Like not even saying I get why people are upset. And I'm not saying that him staying I'm not saying anything bad about Jackson State or anything like that. I'm just saying he needed to move up. He needed better talent. He needed national TV type games. He needed all that stuff if he wanted to really prove himself as a coach. And now he's there. And then Colorado, definitely one of the worst Pac-12 schools of late. definitely one of the worst college football schools as of late. And if he goes in there and turns it all around, they got great recruiting, they got transfer recruiting. Like, I think it's great. If he can get really something done there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my answer would be, I mean, as like Dylan said, it's great. I think that he's paving the way for other, HBC or Black, African American coaches to, have opportunity.
Former players.
Ed Reed just signed on with Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, that's awesome for Ed Reed.
Eddie George is the coach at Tennessee State.
Yep. A lot of people say that Deion used Jackson as a stepping stone. I mean, I don't want Gene.
I don't think he used it as a stepping stone at all. I think he used it as a place. I think when he decided he was going to coach. I think when he decided he wanted to coach, I think he really wanted to make something and make a difference and make like a purpose and a promise. And I think Jackson State was the perfect place to do that at. I think he did what he needed to do there, but I don't think there was anything left for him to do there. And I think moving on was smart.
Yeah, I mean, I just figured that taking that bigger promotion. I mean, I'm saying, at any job, if you somewhat, I guess, sign a contract. I mean, I guess you're not signing a contract at work, but you're signing, I guess, if you get hired, what I'm saying, you're not obligated to stay there for so many years. It's up to you to move to different departments. But I mean, say if there is an opening for, assistant manager,
appreciate that, Michael.
Are you going to take that opportunity?
Exactly.
That's what Deion did. So
exactly,
like
he had his opportunity.
Yes.
He can definitely, pave the way for other, coaches. He's put in so many. Think about it. There wouldn't be Jackson State without Deion Sanders. I mean, Deion Sanders
he put them on the map.
So, love y'all. Michael said that. Man, love you too, man. And Michael, same to you, man.
The one thing I'll add.
Both Michaels, man.
Yeah, I'll make this very, very brief. Deion did the right thing. Anybody who hated on Deion like he was supposed to save HBCUs, you're dead wrong. What HBCUs need to do from this point is take what Deion did, build upon it.
You got
Don't sit there and crucify the man because he left. Be like, thanks for doing what you did, Deion. So now we've seen, get big name sponsors. Go after the right recruits, bring them in. You go after other former players who want to get into coaching and be like, look, Deion went from Jackson State to Colorado. You come to one of our schools, do what Deion did, and you could get another one of the big name schools. So I didn't understand the hate for Deion leaving. Well, I kind of did, but yes, like comments that he left HBCUs in great shape.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just the ones who were like, well, HBCUs need funding, and Deion could have gave us funding. It's like, that goes beyond what Deion did.
He was very open with saying like all the stuff he did when it was recruiting and getting players in. He was like, we didn't have the funding. We just had a great social media team. We know what we were doing. We were talking to players. We were letting them know what was up. We were building a culture that they wanted to come here. And that's what you have to do. Deion didn't have any more money at Jackson State. He's not allowed to use his personal money for recruiting. He's allowed to use what the budget gives him.
Yep.
And he still got the #1 overall recruit there. Mm-hmm. That says something.
And I think didn't that receiver he's going to Colorado?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's transferring.
So, I mean,
but as Deion told him, he's bringing luggage and it's Louis. And I'm gonna watch Colorado football because of Deion, just to see him.
My dad's a Colorado fan.
Deion bringing that Louis, that Gucci, that Hermes. He's bringing
it all.
But Deion understands today's athletes. He puts a lot of it on social media, so he's giving these players an opportunity to kind of build a fan base already. And I think that's something that the HBCUs can now see. Integrate social media into your recruiting, all of that. Just take what Deion did and expand upon it. And if you do that, whatever money you felt like Deion could have brought you will still be there. They still have that deal with ESPN for the next 9 years or so. Use that to continue what Deion started. So, don't get on Deion's back for taking a better job. Congratulate him for, a black coach at Colorado. How many people would have thought that would have happened anytime soon? Just celebrate the fact that he's entered in to a different pool where now some of these other big name schools might start looking at, different coaches than they normally would have to lead their programs. So I love everything that Deion's doing. Maybe his personality isn't for everybody. Kind of flamboyant, big personality in college football. It works because we talked about Mike Leach. He was a big personality, and it only helps college football. So, Deion, do your thing. But, man, that was a great question to go out on. We better get out of here before you come up with another one and we stay on here for another 2 hours. So.
Jordan's going to be eating his meal in front of us all.
God damn.
Man trying to kill us, man. But no, man, we love it. Hopefully you can, join next week, even just in the comments, and, do what you did this week.
Man, I love it. Man, I love that, Michael. On the actual, Michael, man, depending on your schedule, man, you should come on the show next Tuesday, man.
Yeah,
as a guest,
and that goes for anybody who comments and they're interested on joining the show. Definitely leave a comment. Let us know. Like we'll hit you up. We'll hit you up if you want to be on the show.
Share the link, to y'all. So love to have you on both Michael on the show. That'd be pretty cool, man. Because y'all both have a lot of knowledge. So all right, we'll count it for next Tuesday, man.
Yep. We'll definitely make that happen. But yeah, so another great show, guys. We went many different paths on this show, but it was all good. We always have great conversation. Chat, loved it. Loved the action that was going on in there. So yes, it's the last show before the new year, but trust me, 2023 is going to be great for the big three as well as the Sports Empire Network. So you're tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification. If you're on Facebook, follow, Twitter as well. But a lot of great shows on here, a lot of great people, funny, hot takes, Marcus. But, a lot of great people on the network. And
we cannot say Marcus. I mean, we can't end the episode without saying the right name, Marcus, man.
Yeah, you got to say it. So
Chris Webber, man.
Yeah. He's living his dream.
I haven't seen him on A1 recently. Where has he been?
Hey, he's probably kind of with some other hot take because the Chris Webber one's kind of run its course. But yeah,
oh man,
we've been on long enough.
Yep. But no, I think the last message I had to say for everyone is have a safe New Year, New Year's Eve. Don't get too wasted.
Definitely make sure you got your designated drivers.
Yes. Be responsible.
Yeah.
Marcus is one of them. Yes, he is.
But
yes, be responsible. And when we see you guys next, it'll be 2023. So enjoy the rest of your holiday. Enjoy your family, friends. Reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
Just say hi, love you, all that. It'll definitely make a
Happy New Year, Mike. Happy New Year, Mike.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
New Year's, everybody.
But we will see you guys next Tuesday. Remember, 7 o'clock, Big Three Podcast. We're out.